Then he has worked with Tata Trust, Mumbai Industrial Community, DSI. Yes, botanical park in Chandrapur. Prasanna Murthy has also worked with Tree Authority of Mumbai. अभी सर जो सर है अभी बेंगलुरु एयरपोर्ट इज द बेस्ट एयरपोर्ट इन द वर्ल्ड. Yes, sir.
What he is saying, जो floriculture department में खास कर. Yes, sir. He should be careful what he is saying. No, he's not just wasting his time.
Sir, this is the first airport. जो airport नहीं है, that's the biodiversity hotspot.
Wonderful.
He has placed 7,000 species. Imagine. In that airport, 7,000 species. It's a terminal in a garden. I just visited the airport just last week, sir. So it's a wonderful day. देखने की जगह है. तो 7,000 species and he has placed here 4 plants.
Normally, an airport is something of hard concrete and iron and steel also. What's the airport? Airport क्या चाहता? Because the railway here, I would lost somewhere. Airport has a jungle, concrete jungle. Shishtar, loha, iron, steel. And he said that it has been created into a kind of like a biodiversity house. So, I'm just saying so. मुझे बड़ा अच्छा लगता है ये सुन के कि किसी ने एक concrete jungle को एक vibrant ecosystem में create किया. Wonderful. You're big. इससे आपको बता रहा हूँ कि that when you are मतलब it has to be some kind of inspiration for us. So Desai Sahab is not very different from us as far as the human body, जो है ना, is concerned. Taqleef same हुई है ना? But then he has made a difference. So we feel really, I feel really, really proud of listening what he is saying of your achievements. Thank you very much.
All of the plants he has planted here, there. You brought some from Brazil. Those plants, they cost 1.4 crores. Only 4 plants.
4 plants.
So
Situation.
They are there.
Great.
I don't want to name between.
Yeah.
This
What I would do, I would just will listen to the Saisa. He will take us to where he would like to take us. And I believe that he will take us to that and for us to kind of a virtual world. क्योंकि हमारे लिए वो virtual world होगा.
नहीं सर, वो real world.
नहीं. I mean for us. I tell you why. Virtual means a physical building. कैसा रहता है? Means if I tell someone that there is an airport in Bangalore, which is a kind of a biodiversity kind of a hub, all kind of plants, flora, and everything is there. And at the same time, I see my own Kashmir, which is naturally biodiversity, but then I see that it is turning into a kind of a desert.
Indeed.
Isn't it? So when we are turning the biodiversity hub or this beautiful place into a kind of a desert, and he's turning the other way. Say for example, China is said to have, would be doing, cultivating rice in Saudi Arabia. And rice in UAE. What do you mean by that? Cultivating rice. And we fail to cultivate rice here. So if somebody says to someone here in Kashmir or in India that rice would be cultivated in Saudi Arabia in the desert, it looks virtual. But for them it's real. Therefore that's how we see.
So now I request our Professor in Head, Professor Narendra Sir of the Faculty, our Chief Guest. Sir, I request our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Najib Sir, to kindly facilitate our guest, Professor, who is welcome for his field of landscaping and
जरा बच्चे आप कौन अरे मरे हुए क्यों आगे पूछे वो ले रहा भैया क्या बहुत अच्छा ओह थैंक
so I request our HOD sir, our chief guest of the occasion.
Yeah.
Say total of applause for every person of applause.
They are now automatic.
Before I start, sir starts, I would like to just to sir. Yesterday, Commissioner MSME made a surprise visit for training. Yes, sir. Joint Commissioner MSME, Bharat Prakash. He had a meeting here and then he came here to surprise visit. And then he interacted with our trainees, we were expert speaker, and he was very happy, sir. Very, very happy. Very happy. So he was very happy. And he told us those students who are working, so he was very happy. Yes, sir, we are experts also. Because we stopped his lecture in between and we interacted with the trainees and also with the students also. And he said next year, those institutes are performing well, they will be providing us double assistance. So that was a very yes.
Wonderful.
So they interact with all.
तो ये pictures करके इनके साथ share करना. और कल वाली जितनी भी किसी ने pictures उठाए कल की.
Yes, sir.
नहीं तो ये video है ना.
Yes.
Take some pictures and share with him.
Yes.
Listen to me and then share this presentation. Can you record this presentation?
Yes, sir.
इसको आप live में record करते हैं ना. So that you know, if we could replay it tomorrow with the students, maybe हमारे ये बच्चे वो बच्चे, you can play it.
Definitely. I am actually presenting 2 sessions today.
Wonderful.
Morning session is all about airport.
Wonderful.
And all opportunities for the my family, because
Wonderful.
we all are having same blood.
Yes.
And we are all having love for plants.
Wonderful.
And third, we all want to become a part of that 10 trillion economy which is going to happen invariably in next 10 years.
In next 10 years.
So the idea is we
3-5
all
years.
harvest that potential.
Wonderful.
Second session is more technical.
Wonderful.
First session is basically all about to introduce you to the world of landscape.
Wonderful.
Where our country is moving towards. So we also need to play our part. Second session will actually to show us a tree from Kashmir has travelled to Japan, which contributes to 22% of their economy.
Cherry.
That's the cherry. Our own cherry travelled from Kashmir 1200 years back. We ignored it, and they are taking $4.5 billion in just 7 days to 10 days of flowering period.
Wonderful. आप सुन रहे हो?
I mean,
खासकर बच्चे.
potential.
बच्चे लोग सुने बच्चे.
Sir, talking about students, Mr. Desai has agreed.
Brainstorm इसी को बोलते हैं. This is called brainstorm.
Sir, he has agreed to take our students as interns here.
नहीं, he would be our regular teacher from today.
Yes.
I will announce it in my speech.
Yes.
And we'll see like it how we do it.
Okay. Request Mr. Desai to please come up to the podium.
Yeah.
हाइट थोड़ा बहुत ज़्यादा हो रहा है।
ये किसने बनवाया? इसे बनवाऊँ ज़्यादा तो उसमें पीछे से है ना वो 2 एक्स्ट्रा बनवाना।
वो बनाया है, उनको कल लगेगा और काम करेगा।
बढ़िया है ना। अब ऐसा करो माइक सीना
माइक प्लीज
एक लूज माइक दो। चलो बढ़िया। अब यहाँ सामने वो पे हम कर लेंगे वो चेंज कर लेंगे वहाँ से।
Hello.
I'll do that.
वो थोड़ा सा लाइव फोकस आप कर देंगे।
Hello.
Yes.
Hello.
Yes, yes. We are सिर्फ थोड़ा सा माइक अपने मोबाइल चोट करना भी है। Wonderful. So that's great. Wonderful. एस्पेक्ट स्टूडेंट के पानी
लाइन से स्टूडेंट
बड़ा खड़े हो जा सर आधा भी ब्राइट स्टूडेंट अच्छा बाकी चीज ट्रेन है ना
PhD students का
ये टारगेट हमारी जब ये लड़का ये जो यहाँ पे ये कर रहा है ना ये लड़का बड़ा ही इज स्टूडेंट and he is doing everything for me and that too मतलब there is no comparison but अपना दिमाग ऐसे लड़ाना शुरू कर ये फालतू के दिमाग मोबाइल में और व्हाट्सएप में मैं आप
Good morning, my family. I do call you as my family. We all have the intention to love plants, love for plants, and our life runs around plants. And we all intend to make our life through plants. So the idea is, what are the mechanisms, where the world is heading to, and what is the potential for our state, our place, our country. And where do we find, see, it is inevitable now that we will be a not 5 trillion economy, we will be a 10 trillion economy in next coming 10 years. So, and we will be third largest economy invariably. Then what we need to know is where do we participate? As an agrarian economy, we need to leave the mindset of becoming service-oriented to an entrepreneur-oriented people. Mindset has to change. Everything cannot be changed by the government rules, regulations. It has to come from within. That I want to become Rupert Murdoch. I want to become, Adani, Ambani of India. Or I want to become someone who is known to the world. We can make a change. I also belong to the same blood group of horticulture. Most of you are from my own blood group. So horticulture is my blood. So that is where I want to say that I am also horticulture, BSc agriculture, MSc horticulture from University of Agricultural Sciences, Dharawa. Passed out in 1996. So career started in 97 with the central government. I was with central government for 3 years, but it was not a kick-giving job. So I left and I went to Australia to study about lawn. So I am one of those guys who study grass. Grass is only known for us, it's all either गाय भैंसों को चराने वाला item or otherwise NB21 is what we all understand to make a dairy industry different. But their lawn actually makes $1 billion industry worldwide. There are signature golf courses. Why I am starting with golf courses? One potential place in India is 24/7 golf course हो सकता है एक ही state. When it can be day golf course, it can be a night golf course. So that's a potential to explore. How many golf courses are running in Jammu Kashmir? Hardly there are 1 or 2 which are British. Hardly people are use marketing the trend or making people to entice them. Come and play golf course in snow. Come and play golf course in a complete green carpet during the summers of Kashmir. We don't look at it as a business proposition. Look at changing that trend. It can happen at your town level, it can happen at your district level, it can happen at a state level in terms of harvesting the potential. Secondly, when I entered this field, a very unknown field called landscape. So people might think what landscape is all about. 4 पौधा लगाने से garden नहीं बनता. It is a complete plan. It is a complete thought process. Right now, the first video we are going to play. This is what I got in 2018 when I joined this campus redevelopment of this entire airport. 175 acres of pure landscape. First exercise was to take out what was there earlier, expand the roads from 2 lane to 5 lane each, and a metro corridor in the center. Taking out around 8,000 trees which are around 20 years old, saving all of them, around 8,000 plants, spent around 13 crores. Imported 2 machines from Germany, one from Volvo, one from Mercedes, to take out the root ball of the plant. You might have seen the WhatsApp and Facebook many times. See those machines which actually transplant the trees. The same machines I got. We had an agreement with Volvo. When you want to work as a project head or a project lead, project manager, you also need to understand you don't need to buy a machinery which is worth 4 crores. You can have an agreement with them saying that because you are working in my airport, we have an association. आधा या ज़्यादा आप खर्चा करो, थोड़ा हम देंगे, नाम दोनों कमाएंगे, ताकि आप 8,000 plants transplanting, saving them to a 95% survival ratio in itself is a wonder. Each plant, if I want to buy in the market, it is not available in India because Indian nursery is at least 100 years behind European nursery. I will show those examples in the afternoon. My anguish when we want to deliver a project which is on a ready-made on a day one basis, the difficulty with our country is we don't have a standard plant material. That is an opportunity for all of us in terms of understanding how do we make a business out of this entire proposition. What are all the opportunities for all of us to look at क्या क्या बेच सकते हैं अपने अलावा what all we can sell, you know, in terms of intelligence, what we can actually market it and make sure that, but you know, place called as Pinochet in when you actually travel to Pisa in Italy, there is a 60-kilometer drive, a very small villages, each village having a 180 homes to 1800 homes, driving entire world's 40% of plant sales. Can you imagine? Minus 20 degrees to plus 21 degrees. That is the range what they operate. That means that is the range we all operate in Srinagar. They supply world's 45% of plant material. And there is something called as standards. I am very sorry to say, ना मैं वो standards सीख पाया, ना मेरे professor सिखा पाए, ना आप लोग सीख पाए. आज ये opportunity रहेगी कि what is world standard, what world actually says, how the plants are categorized, whether it is starting from ground covers, shrubs, then the palms, trees, जो भी है, how do they standardize it? How the pricing factor operates. One tree can fetch you $6,000 in 4 years of gestation period. No other crop on earth can give you that kind of revenue. One tree of a 4-inch girth, which is bought from, whether it is the major market producing market is China, Thailand, and Europe. Europe basically is your Italy, Spain, Portugal. उसके बाद unorganized market like India. Major plant material मिलती है, but it is not of a standard. They make it into standards by going to Turkey. Now Turkey was actually a reseller. They used to collect the material from others and they used to keep it in the nursery and run that show for a year or two, take care of the plant material and resell it in the European market because they have a very close vicinity so that they can actually sell it very fast. So it was a regenerative market. In the last 10 years, that has also changed. Now, they are actually, a government is encouraging people to start up their own nurseries. In the afternoon, I will show you how standard nurseries are made in the coast of all coastal belt of Turkey. And again, the temperatures are minus 20 to plus 21, 22 degrees. I mean, everything is possible here. Only think what is required is a change of mindset. Okay? We also can make a difference of it. Why I am stressing that is the pain of collecting the plant material, what you see in the second video, is humongous. I spent 400 crores in 3 years. Only plants I have spent nearly 100 crores. Can you imagine? India can spend 100 crores only buying plants. One project, 4,000 acres, 175 acres of landscape, 1.5 crore live plants. It has happened here, means it will happen everywhere. It's a benchmark now where people would love to emulate that exercise. I would like to introduce you to how this landscape field operates. It is all about selling the dream. It's called as conceptual presentation. The architects of this project are SOM from New York studio work with us, and Grant Associates, the guys who have done Garden by the Bay in Singapore. They are pioneers in landscaping. They designed my terminal. So initially the whole setup, what you see in the first video is all terminal in a garden was their dream what this whole it was in 2017-18. When I joined this group, then the idea was to exceed the expectations. No one is watching you. You could have actually delivered what was there in the concept. What difference we can bring in? As a horticultural background, as a guy who has a knowledge of architecture, and what difference we can make to our nation? How do we climb 10 more steps without even getting or changing the conceptual level? We'll see a concept what is being presented to us as a dream in 2017 and 18. Can you play the video? Yeah, this is a concept presentation. When you enter into a not this one, the first one. Yeah, this one. This is a terminal which we are developing for 25 million capacity right now. We already have a large terminal which is catering to around 45 million. This terminal currently we have built for another 25 million additional capacity. By 2028, once this entire terminal gets completed, we will be around 90 million to serve to the nation. Per annum, 90 million per annum. 90 million passengers per annum.
See those hanging.
Right, this is a concept, 2017-18, this is a dream what they sold it to us.
The concept है design, 3D architectural design.
Yeah.
And it has been converted into reality. And see, skill and the competence of those guys who are building this kind of architectural design. Before you actually build something, you know what we are going to achieve.
Yes.
That's how you should visualize yourself. अगर आप में से कोई अपना नर्सरी बनाना चाहता है या लैंडस्केपिंग बनाना चाहता है तो पहले उसको ताजमहल की तरह ताजमहल दिमाग में आना चाहिए, बाद में कोई बंदा आके उसको बनाएगा. So you have to frame the mind, and that's why this is a frame of the mind of someone.
The terminal is built on a 4 vision principle.
Wonderful. Because you can't convince the government without taking this kind of proof to them. It's called the proof of concept.
Correct.
आजकल के ज़माने में कोई थ्योरी नहीं मानता. And every, it is to the scale, to the, smaller than millimeters.
Yes.
It could be, in maybe 1/10 of a millimeter to the scale I'm seeing.
Correct.
Because there is no scope of a mistake.
Correct.
When you are going just like an airport. Wonderful.
So, what you see is a forest belt within the terminal. When this is an international site, it's already been built. You will also see a second video which is actually a built one. You will be walking on the canopy of the trees, for which I needed a ready-made tree with flowers. So buying them in India is a dream. You cannot buy even if you want to spend money. It is not available.
कोई बच्चे यहाँ पे किसी ने सुना है थोड़ा बहुत ऑटो कैब के बारे में? ऑटो कैब है ना, ऑन ऑफ करना आता होगा मशीन, है कि नहीं? But see that how they are using this technology. See the vision of the people, and it should be inspiring for all of you young boys especially. It has been converted into reality, and it happens like that.
ये 19 मीटर की waterfall है inside the terminal. It's one of the largest waterfall in a indoor environment.
अब आप यहाँ पे कश्मीर में अपने आप को बहुत फख्र महसूस करते हैं कि अहरबल जहाँ वाटरफॉल देखने के लिए. अहरबल सुना आप लोगों ने? तो वहाँ पता नहीं कहाँ से लोग आते अहरबल देखने. The same thing they have created within the airport.
Now we can play the second video.
चलो भाई, बहुत अच्छा, wonderful.
This is what I have been able to deliver This was actually a 6 months back video, and you can actually see what we have delivered.
If you have had anything Indian today, there
No,
are high
it's not
chances
this.
that you would already have tasted Korea.
ये नहीं है. Go back, go back. Oh, first one. Yes, that.
ऊपर
नीचे वाला, नीचे वाला. Yeah.
ये वाला था
Yeah.
क्योंकि YouTube पे है सारा available, you can just even again see it, repeat these.
We are all here in Bangalore, the city which is known for its beautiful gardens. We wanted to imbibe that character of the city and we wanted to bring it into an experience to the passengers which are flying through our airport. Initially, it started as a concept of enhancing the garden experience of the Bangalore city, bringing that experience inside the terminal, first of its kind.
See,
Terminal in a garden was a vision statement. That's our first preliminary vision, what we thought. Then we started looking at, can we enhance the terminal in a garden experience to terminal in a biodiversity hotspot? A place where plants find their refuge for next 100 years, 200 years, 300 years, till this airport lasts. We have an assured place where we take care of these species. That started seeding initial thought process. We made this into a terminal in a biodiversity hotspot.
every single student will come up with
Easy
an
airport is always
strategy.
stressful. Here we wanted to change that concept from a stressful environment to a beautiful environment where pleasure is all about the garden of being with the plants. Being with plants which you have never seen in your lifetime, which will you never be able to see in your lifetime because these are very hard to find plants. So that's what made us to bring in plants from the entire world and an opportunity for everyone to see these beautiful creations of plants. If you look at the entire green wall, the whole green wall holds around 460 species, completely tropical palette. It's a 10-meter tall and around a kilometer length, holding around 4.5 lakh live plants. You might call me, why you want to call this as a terminal in a biodiversity hotspot? This is the only terminal in the world which holds 3,600 species which are part of the Indian ecosystem, native to 26 agroclimatic zones of India, both Eastern Ghats and the Western Ghats. As a passenger, when you walk inside the terminal, in the international side, the forest belt is there. You will be literally walking on the canopy of the forest. Below your foot, what you see is an actual collection of Indian forests. So we would like to call this as a conservation movement. Conservation to the core so that some plants have been bought from a promissory note. That we didn't pay anything. Only assurance was we will give you back your saplings and seeds. Then can we add more? Can we add actually led us to looking at rare, endangered and threatened species of Indian flora. Rare in the sense they are less than tigers. That's a new benchmark which I can actually tell you. Can we able to collect them? Can we able to get those saplings, seedlings? Can we adopt them? Yes. Currently, I own 196 plus species. I think this is the only place in India where you can actually see that kind of large collection inside an air. When we started creating the forest inside the terminal, the biggest challenge was how we hold the soil which is filled at a 98% compaction. Why that elevation is required is during the boarding pier or at the departure hall, we want you to experience the bloom which is created 12 months and 24 hours of a day. Some are night bloomers, some are day bloomers, but there is color on a daily basis here. The next challenge was in that compacted soil, plants may not be interested to grow initially. So we introduced a top 1 meter of profile, wherein this profile is filled in a gunny bag because gunny bag deteriorates after 2 years. So initial 1 meter of that soil is filled up with all organic matter. If you look very closely, this gunny bag can actually deteriorate. The entire soil profile holds a lot of moisture. You can actually see lot of by the time the entire ecosystem, what we have put on the top, will get established. The falling leaves will actually add the more organic matter to this soil, and this soil becomes sustainable. When you come inside, you actually can feel that you are in the middle of the forest. So if you look at these trees, these are the trees when we initially planted in around 2 years back. This is the first of its kind large-scale transplanting effort that was done in 2019. Whatever we transplanted in 2019, you can actually see the whole wealth here. They are transplanted, stored for the last 4 years, promising them the new lease of life when the whole terminal comes up. If you look up, in just 14 months, the entire area looks like a complete Western Ghat forest. The place where I am standing right now is a collection of international plant material from all across the world, all 5 continents, from the Mediterranean climate. You might ask me why Mediterranean climate? See, Mediterranean climate is the winters are quite harsh. Many plants, they don't require water. They require very less water. And dry and arid climate, but it's a colder environment. Indoors of the airport is always colder. It is maintained right from 19 degrees to 22 degree situation. End of the day, when the opening is airport, the idea was to create a long-lasting memory, long-lasting experience. So in that scenario, the first and foremost idea was limited maintenance or limited building with the regular maintenance of the plant. If you look at this entire palette, these are one of the oldest living plants on Earth as well as Mediterranean climate. Decilidiums, Yuccas, basically these are all type of Yuccas. Decilidium, Longicium, Bideti, Maculensis is the species what you see here. Currently when you see oldest living plants in the Google, this will actually take you to Dracena dracos from Socotra Island as well as from Canary Island. These are Dracena dracos which are 800 years young. So they are known to survive for another 4,000 years. The aloe vera, grandmother of aloe vera, this is one of the oldest living aloe vera species. This plant is around 100-120 years. The aloe berry and the aloe barberry, there are 2 species what you can see in this planting palette. Many of the Indians have never seen these plants. My collection holds from as young as 6 years to 600-year-old tree. Look at towards my right hand side, it's 600 years young. The Dracena dracos from Canary Islands are 800 years young. They are known to survive for another 4,000 years.
One set of things.
We can close the video.
You do one thing, keep these links available. ये सारे links हैं ना, आप अपने links में उन सबके साथ share करोगे. क्योंकि बहुत खूबसूरती से देसाई साहब ने ये बताया कि पहले एक concept उन्होंने build किया, पहला वाला slide concept, और बाद में उसको reality में translate करने के लिए एक वो concept की ज़रूरत थी, दूसरा उसमें effort की ज़रूरत थी. The amount of the effort, the energy, the commitment, the dedication that it required to convert that concept into a reality. Please continue.
Yeah, in the nutshell, when 2017-18 the real work started, the idea was not only the terminal in the garden, what is my contribution, which you need to ask your own self, for your own life, not for anybody else to please.
Wonderful.
You are born as a human being, you really want to die as like कोई गधा घोड़ा कुत्ता भी पैदा होता है और मर जाता है. What difference you can make for your own self? You need to ask this question because you don't want to be an unknown figure when you go back to your loving God. When you go to Him, you should have a face to show.
Wonderful.
Look at His eyes and react to it. अल्लाह मैंने जन्म तो दिया था तुमने हमें, मैं गया धरती पे, शायद हो सकता है कि मैं 1000 गुनाह किया हो, लेकिन एक अच्छा काम मैंने किया जिसके लिए मैं तुम्हारी शुक्रगुजार रहूंगा और मैं आंखों में आंखें डाल के बात करने लायक एक मेरे लिए एक छोटी सी मौका मिल जाएगा. ये किसी और के लिए नहीं करना है आपको. आप कुछ भी करो अपने लिए करो, अपनी प्राइड के लिए करो. The moment
such kind of thought comes to, this is not thought, it has to come from within.
Yes.
I could have done this as my own small job. Without this also, biodiversity hotspots नहीं बनाऊं, I don't conserve plants, I don't do transplanting. मेरी पगार तो 31st को या 30th की रात को आ जाती है बिना पूछे. I could have done this as a normal project and get out of this entire thing. I could have run with my entire family as it is. The only idea was what difference, what we can make. Somebody has to take this in his hand to make a difference. I also belong to the same caste and community of horticulture. I always had a dream कि ऐसा मौका दे दे भगवान जहाँ कुछ change कर पाए. Change for the good, larger good. When we started with this, we started saving the entire topsoil, which cannot be created in the laboratory. The only thing which cannot be created in the laboratory is soil, because we don't understand soil. Soil is a living thing. So first and foremost thing, wherever you want to work in the field, understand your soil, what it holds, what are the associated ecosystem within that. Biome, it is living being. Soil is a living being. You need to be compassionate, you need to understand. Throwing inorganic chemicals right at center may yield you for a few years, but you want to be sustainable for ages to come. You need to make sure that you understand where you are working and what is your purpose. The first and foremost thing what we did is we scrapped the top 6 inches, we stored it. Stored it in a way which is very scientific, where the ecosystem is maintained. So we did that. Secondly, we promised ourselves that we will not buy a single gram of soil from outside. That was our first promise in terms of sustainability. So that is where it all started. Then we understood with the institutions. We all studied in government institutions like our university here in Srinagar. So we understand there is a plethora of microorganisms which live inside this soil. So we made sure that we understand what is the plant, what we are going to put inside that soil. For how many years we want that ecosystem to be managed, how it can be self-sustained. So that has led to understanding N solubilizer, P solubilizer, azotobacters. We only read in the books. You may not have seen them working in the in actual conditions. Right now, what you see, they are all working for not me, for the nation, for that project now. The idea is, I have told all these plants after 3 years, I will not take care of you. You have to manage on your own. So that is what the promise. I have never pampered any plants. It's very clear. I only have 175 acres, but my dream is to capture all the species created by God, whether it is from Kashmir, whether it is from London, whether it is from Honolulu. The idea is to bring in all that is possible to accommodate, because I have ecosystems created. It is not only interior landscape, it is a complete science in all together when it comes to doing a landscape. So landscape is not only design per se, it is about understanding the multi-dimension to this entire episode called as landscape. Why I am stressing to you guys is you are future of this nation. You need to understand wherever you enter in, whatever you want to do, understand the dimensions, understand the background nuances, what differences, what change can actually influence not only you as a person, also the entire community surrounding you. You need to look at the larger picture. Go up, look what is required. Naukri could have been a normal Naukri. Naukri making a difference. अगर वो प्रोजेक्ट में नॉर्मली कर लेता तो शायद मुझे आपको मिलने की मौका ही नहीं मिलता. It could have been any normal project done dusted very easily. अगर after 75 years of independence, if some project is appreciated to a worldwide level, where it is making a big news worldwide, is only because we only change the thought of making a difference. So that is applicable to you also as a person in the larger scale. Don't look at my project. The idea of me coming to here is to bring that sparkle in you which is alive in everyone. We need to make change. No one else is going to influence that. We ourselves inside we have that spark. Somebody needs that to ignite it. The idea is to ignite that spark is why I come here. Even one guy turning to an entrepreneur is a success of my today's time. I am spending with you guys. Then when we saved this soil, the next idea was when we want to walk inside a terminal, you will be literally walking in the canopy of the trees. We have seen plants from a eye level or eye level up. We have never seen
Down.
you have never seen plants on your feet. No, nowhere. Only thing you can see is you have to go to either Singapore or else go to Kuala Lumpur because they have done that park where you can actually walk on the canopy of the trees. So the next idea was when we want to do that, we need the ready-made plants. आज अगर गुलमोहर मुझे चाहिए, ready-made गुलमोहर in Indian market, it is not available. Even I want to spend a plant, 10 lakh rupees on that plant. I need a tree which is actually a tree, where I can hug that tree. It is not available. That's a potential we all have as a nation. Nothing in this nation is more than this thickness. Maybe you will get 25 feet tall, sir के जितना लंबा, मेरे जितना मोटा नहीं मिलने वाला. Everything is lean. What they sell is basically a baby. It's not even I don't want to call it as a species. You really don't have a guarantee whether it survives it or not. That's what I saw just in the early corner. So somebody has planted a small sapling. They may not just go through this winter, harsh winter. That cannot be the right way. Why do we see Paris so beautiful, London so very well done, or Tokyo done very well? Why? Because they work on standards. So you need to understand about what do you mean by standards. I'll share you all the data in after. That has led to me to go to explore getting plant material from worldwide. Indoors are always harsh. Indoor you don't have proper sunlight. So the first challenge was to convince management to open the city, bring it in the sunlight at least for 4 hours. So once you enter my terminal inside, I have 45% open sunlight. We have glass, but it's clear glass, which allows 40% sunlight. That means at least they can prepare the 50% food from sunlight. Then the second aspect was spectrum, understanding the spectrum of light. I am teaching you a lot of coursework what we have already studied, horticulture lights. These spectrums, so actually they work. Come to me, I am a science institute, I am not an airport. So whole spectrum I work. There is a company called as Sungate. You need to do Google. There is a company called as SUNLIT, it's a sunlight. They are the pioneers in these horticulture lights. They manufacture a complete spectrum known to us right now in terms of from green to violet. Every spectrum has a special effect on plants. So the green actually helps plants to grow. The red to violet helps flowering, fruiting, and seed bearing. So spectrum light is what we understand. First, the Asha or greed was to bring in every possible species from all continents. That's where it started. Started from India. We have a 1962 PQC. PQC is Plant Quarantine Regulation. PQC. We have not changed it. But after testing last 1.5 years, now the list of plants which we can import is getting changed. I made sure that I put a gun on the head of central government to change that. See, we are a country which has 27 hydrogravity zones. This is the only place on earth where -40 to plus almost touching 60 degrees is possible. That's why we are subcontinent. 27 hydrogravity zones. That means entire world plant material can be grown in our country. That is business potential. 6 to 7 billion population. A person sitting next to you is your client. That should be your mindset if you want to become an entrepreneur. तुम्हारा दोस्त नहीं, तुम्हारा दुश्मन नहीं है, ना तुम्हारा फैमिली मेंबर. Everybody is a potential client. Every situation is a potential situation for making marketing of your product. Change your thought process. No one can work for you. Your mind has to work for you. It's a dangerous game. The potentially it contains the entire cosmos in your brain. Antaratma is what they say. Within you because you have everything inside. The only thing is you need to feed a continuous material to your brain to think differently so that the difference can start showing up. Then I started procuring plants. 2019, my management was a little anguished to go to these media. Okay, we bought in Mediterranean plants from world over, we did this, we did, and they went very early. They put Prasanna Murthy's name in the video. And you can Google, you can put Prasanna Murthy and Google up, you can see people yelling at me, my mother, my sisters, my family. How dare you spend the public money on buying the plant? People never had an understanding that what we are all up to. We always have a tendency to react, not understand. It is life. We react very fast. We don't understand what is the background, what is the situation, why are they doing this. Nobody understood. I kept in mind, we all know that lady. She is considered to be one of the pioneers in India. She is head of a large organization. We treat her as an icon. Her reaction actually triggered the backlash. Why I am sharing my pain is when you want to do something different, start accepting the brands. Take heads on. You cannot run away from the situation. I knew that every dog has a day. There will be a day for me to answer back to the people who questioned me and my intent. My family was brought into the situation. Why the hell you are spending public money? And we went on to publish the rates of the plants. Bringing plant from Sugar to Sugar, you can't even enter. You really don't know where can the island is. We only know it in the map, we only heard in the books. Going to Candy Island, you will have this lifting that material illegally because legally it is not possible. Bringing it to countries where it is legalized. Bring them in the name of legal material. If you want to do something different, risks are inevitable. The sharing intention is without taking risks, you cannot progress. Risks are not hurdles, risks are opportunities. You might fall down, you might get clammed up, you might be cornered, you might be questioned for anything. But make sure, take risks. Take risks for your own self, not for anyone else. We did, we imported nearly 80 to 90 containers from all 5 continents. I was one of the luckiest, I am one of the blessed souls. I traveled 52 countries in search of plants. Some are exchanged, some are borrowed, some are promissory note. Promissory note, I found what really is promissory note. Climate change is real. We have never heard a fire in Kashmir, in the jungles of Kashmir. It's real. 3 years back, we saw forests were burning. We experienced 42 degrees Celsius. It's unimaginable. Climate change is real. Our generation is one of those generations where TV, mobile, phone, everything is gone. We have seen all that. We were the luckiest generation where radio se leke screen, the unimaginable screens are all possible right now. This generation, right? So the things are changing fast since 1970s to 2010 to onwards. So the idea is when we want to look at these things, you also need to look at what is where the future lies, what we want to do, where to collect. So India has nearly 2,20,000 sacred forests. Every state has a sacred forest. Every sacred forest hold all those are really sacred. Non-documented, they are not part of Google system. They are not documented properly. So I went cold to coast in terms of search of plant materials. Somebody questioned me asking why you are spending on international plant material when India has so much of plant wealth, why are you not looking at it? So it was always there in paper, but people have not an understanding of large scale projects. So then I made it sure that 26 agroclimatic zone plants can be cultivated in Bangalore. Bangalore is one different place because it sits in an elevation of Dehradun. Elevationally, Dehradun is 623 and Bangalore is 624, and just 1 meter plus from Dehradun. So anything which is sub-Himalayan terrain, the moment once I go down from here, Jammu mein jo bhi plant aata hai, including poplar, then your those rooting plant, your Babylon, Salix Babylon plant. You see a lot of Salix here in Salix works in Bangalore. That means I still still have an eagerness to experiment. So that experiment has led in terms of biodiversity hotspot is the 1680 species of native ecosystem makes it a biodiversity hotspot. 1680 species is what world has defined. So the first challenge was to bring in 1680 species to change from a terminal in a garden concept to terminal in a biodiversity hotspot. I am not a botanical garden. I could have run away with my job. I could have done this without making any change to my personal life. But if I don't take this chance, I will never be able to share this experience to the whole world. The whole world is listening to me. Last month I was in Geneva. The month before I was in Germany. A month before that I was in US. Day after tomorrow on 9th I will be in London. I will be sharing the same experience to the world. Maybe I will not talk about standards to them because I learned standards from them. But in terms of opportunity, every city, every place has the same potential, right? We might have to look at what worked for us. If you ask me as a, if I given an opportunity to work in Srinagar, what difference I am going to make? We'll see in the second half what difference we all can make to this city and our city. Then we all start collecting the Indian plant wealth. Meghalaya, if you go to Cherrapunji, there are 3 sacred forests. You are not even allowed to take a leaf water. Can you believe I took 40 species from those ecosystems, promising them I have nothing to gain or lose here. If your forest, for a bad reason, if that forest gets burned, where will you go? Where will you get those materials? There is no other conservatory in India. We don't have a mindset of conservatory. We don't have a mindset of seed bank. Why I am talking about seed bank? Srinagar is one of those places like Norway where you can establish seed banks. The static temperature is in the range of 10 to 12 degrees minimum, which is the basic criteria to set a. Entire world can come behind you to set a seed bank. You guys have that kind of an opportunity to look at establishing a seed bank. I am talking about an industry which is not edible. I am talking which is aesthetical industry. Edible industry is inevitable. Khana jinda रहने के लिए we will all establish. We somehow take care of the planting material. But non-edible things, very less efforts have been gone into it. And secondly, trees can be induced to stress here very fast. Edible variation is so much so that if somebody wants to breed trees, where are the aesthetical plants are bred? In my second half presentation, you see Cassia fistula. How many we have seen? How many colors we have seen from horticultural background? Somebody? Yellow. Only yellow. Yellow is Cassia fistula for all of us. But now my airport has 4 Cassia fistula colors. Same species, 4 different colors. Where are they bred? They are bred in Slovakia, Europe. Completely temperate zone. Somebody, non-scientist, breeding in their backyard. Two species getting crossed, Javanica versus Cassia fistula, yielding 2 different color sets. Cassia fistula, you can see in my airport, white, off-white, red, and yellow. Yellow is the only original. All 3. World में, if you see those 4 colors in one place, is one diagram palace in Bangkok, second in Bengaluru. And these variations in color actually are come out of sex. So winters in Bengaluru are very pleasant, very beautiful, and very static temperature. My average temperature is 24 to 25 degrees. If the temperature crosses 36 degrees, we have a thermostat. God opens the rains. It is real. It happens in my city. Rains are from January to December. So rains are well spread. If we ask for rain tomorrow, yesterday night I was asking because the temperature was 36 degrees. It rained 7.2 mm. Yesterday night it rained in Bengaluru. So the climatic conditions what you see in Bengaluru or in the surroundings of Jammu Kashmir. Why I am stressing this to you guys is it's a potential where we all can look into in depth. stop working on daffodils, roses, mums. You will not become a crorepati. You want to become a trillionaire? Look at trees. And money grows on trees. In China, one setup, I'll show you the second half, one setup of tree actually costs 5 crores. Essay, they sell 1,000 setups per annum. That means there are potential buyers worldwide. You need to cater to their need. Coriacia speciosa, 4.5 meter, weighing 4.5 ton, 400 years, lifted from Mexican forest, put under a pot, planted inside the terminal. One plant has costed me 60 lakh rupees. I shared my 2 years of increment, convincing my management, those are increment charge because we had 4 planters inside to showcase. How many of us have seen a plant which is like 6 people can hug one plant? We have not seen that, and we will never be able to see that unless we go to Mexican wild forest. So the idea was to bring such kind of material where my passengers who are taking a 2,000, 3,000 rupees ticket and flying, they also need that kind of an experience, memorable experience to carry for their life. एक बार भी एयरपोर्ट के अंदर से आप चले जाओगे, आप इतने सारे चीज देखोगे, it will make you lost of that anguish. Traveling to airport is always stressful, whether it is Srinagar or whether it is Bangalore or whether it is any other place in the world, because you need to start 2 hours early. There are a lot of check-ins, lot of anguish. You always end up in a situation where you might miss the flight. Right? So, and you go there and you see that the flight is delayed by 1.5 hours, and you start fighting with that poor girl or that guy who's actually managing the passenger. They are just like you and me who are doing their job, and we put our anguish on those poor boys. The idea was, how do we reduce this stress? The moment once you see this beautiful flower, you will get lost. It's human nature, because we are all part of this ecosystem. Homo sapiens is the only species which always considers itself as a very superior than any other species. That's a very wrong notion. We are part of this ecosystem. We forgot. Since 1975 to till this day, we wiped out 75% of our biodiversity. In this rate, we will not see 2052. It's real. Climate change is real. So that actually helped me to convince the villages, the village leaders, and the tribesmen to shell out their plant material. I could be able to collect around 196 species which are less than tiger, because there is no count. There are a lot of terminators and cyclians and which are less than 100 in the natural ecosystem. So it is high time. Tigers can be saved after another 2 years because there are 3,000. So there are 1.5 lakh in the cages of China and the US. So these once gone forever. You cannot replace them. Genetics, plant genetics and plant breeding is restricted only to edible crops and to an extent some flowering crops, but not to flowering trees or the wild trees. So gradually 26 agrographic zones, as usual, government and government forest department have their own KRS, key performance. When you come to job, you will really exactly understand what is KRS. Basically, we are all working for a set of rules and regulations for which our individual goals are set. So government departments also work for their own rules and regulations. Saving, conservation, or doing something different is the last priority, because they can't do it. It's beyond their regular work. Somebody has to take that in their hand. Why I am saying this is, if someone wants to establish a nursery which is called only for native Indian plant, native ecosystem of Kashmir, see, you have a ready market called as Europe. Whatever grows in your city, it's a ready-made market. Only thing you need to convince your state government and the central government to push them from here to sea or here to roadways or a sea distance in terms of sending them to buyers in Europe. It's 100% possible. Sorry to say, Apida list there are no trees. Apida only has flowers, cut flowers, and none of the cut flowers are produced in my any of my universities. Any university which produces our cut flowers are not valued in the international market. Sorry to say, 75 years of research, not even single roses, not even single cut flowers we can sell in the international market. Very sorry to say, because mindset. We work on that desertis or Hindu or this chrysanthemum on the proven line which already is established worldwide. Why do you want to do that? You want to do a genda or do a chrysanthemum which can last for 1 year. Put your entire life on that. Make sure that your MSc thesis, PhD thesis are always linked with your life. Just don't do it for the sake of it. This is what I was telling in IIR Delhi in March, that you just cannot go on putting the voice effect of X on Y. Why chicky, that sweet, tastes better in Srinagar than in Singapore. We award PhD. So sorry, we lose not only 3.5 years of effort from the government, funding your own life, eating what? Eating chicky what? It's the same taste. What you eat chocolate here, it's the same chocolate what you are eating there. If really somebody wants to see, putting effort on trees is at least 10, 12, 15 years of effort. So these can be a relay exercise. This can yield for a nation, not only for the person, to the nation. Secondly, what you need to understand when you want to explore is intellectual property rights. We are not being taught in IPRs. Now, I request you guys, whenever you Google IPR, what really IPR is, what is the value of it, how do I register myself, my product into an intellectual property. That property belongs to me. We don't honor that. No, we grow these mums without the guy who actually produced them. We sell left, right, and center. What he is asking is just 0.1% of your revenue. It's nothing much. अगर 10 रुपए आप अगर 10 पैसा मांग रहा है आपसे, वो देने में आपको बिल्कुल हिचकिचाना नहीं चाहिए. You have to share for his life experiment. All those things, IPR, we all need to understand, because it is all about playing a world player. I am not looking at a very small dream of playing in your own state or your own country. You need to make a difference. You have to be a world player. In world players game, you need to work for standards, work for your own intellectual property, your own produce, which is combination of Kashmiri Khawa is one good product what we can actually look at as an IPR. It is only meant to be as not Khawa, it is Kashmiri Khawa. Now when we drink that tea, it actually detoxifies the entire system, but it is not effective. It's an open product. Like that, you might be having so many creative ideas in this day. Temperate zone. You need to produce on trees. So it all led in terms of searching different ecosystems, different plant material. So gradually, 1680 species was crossed in with the help of COVID. So COVID gave us a breather space. 2021 we were supposed to open, and we opened the terminal by 2022 November. So it gave us a breathing space, and it also gave my grid a space to accumulate more. So started with bringing in plant materials which are tropical and subtropical in nature. So collection started from 1680, it went on to 3,600 species of Indian ecosystem, and another 2,000 to 3,000 species which are exotic, which I don't want to speak. Exotic means the species which are like foliage anthurium, which came from Peru, Mexico, Ecuador, and one leaf of queen anthurium costs in the world market 2.5 lakh. एक पत्ता sells at 2.5 lakh. किसी की annual salary हो सकती है. शुरुआत में आप उससे ज़्यादा salary नहीं मिलने वाला. आप you want to work at somebody, someone. 2.5 lakh is your annual package. One leaf of queen anthurium sells at 2.5 lakh to 3 lakh. So holding on to queen anthurium, showcasing to Indians how queen anthurium look at. It's a foliage. It's not flower. Flower is very ugly. Foliage is what is meant for. Foliage is nearly 2.5 meter long, around half a meter big. So the foliage sells in the world market. Species which only live on air, they are called as pelagias. You know, indoor, if you want to grow something in a colder climate like this, look at options of plants which don't require sunlight, which don't require water. They all can sustain on the material available in the ecosystem, complete environment. So because it was terminal, I had an opportunity to experiment. Hoyas and Pelagias, most potential for zero light in Borneo Island. The trees are nearly 100 meter, 150 meter tall. The under canopy or the forest floor doesn't receive, it receives zero sunlight. There is no ambient light at all. They are creepers. They are called as Hoyas, H-O-Y-A-S, Hoyas. Very potential crop for indoor gardening. If somebody wants to do some indoor garden, मेरे bedroom में बिल्कुल light नहीं है, लेकिन मुझे अंदर पूरा green करके चाहिए. That is what you are going to get as a requirement, client requirement. And you might have seen a traction bus which has been planted all across Sri which can work in minus 20 degrees. Somebody has introduced it. It's not Indian thought. I struggled for 4 years to import traction bus. Today I was shocked to see on the road. My anguish and my surprise today was यही है घर पे लेकिन मैं पूरा दुनिया भर घूम रहा because indoor temperatures in the airport are very static like a jail 20 से लेके 24 degrees because humans are very happy in that temperature so we keep people in that environment. For plants it's a jail and there is no sunlight again it's a jail. Water supply quite limited again it's a jail but it's a 5-star jail. You need to keep plants happy, healthy, blooming, but in a jail. So it all gets us to looking at artificial sunlight, putting the water only when the plants ask for. That has led us to automation. You might wonder those bells and waves in the ceiling having 1.75 lakh plants. It is humanly not possible to attend them once in a month also. But they all require these regular upkeep and maintenance. I need to go on a ceiling of 60 meter high, go talk to them, maintain them. It is impossible. So you need to take the help of automation. So if you want to see something called as weather-based irrigation, agriculture engineering में हम लोग सीखते हैं, irrigation में वो भी always the weather-based irrigation system. I am the only place in India where actually it works. My grass, to my trees, to my farms, to everything, they ask for water. Companion crops. If you really want to see what is actually a companion crop, we hear that and we read it during our degree program, but we never experiment with it. Come, what is legumes, what is monocots, what is dicots, how they can coexist. The one which like lot of water are at the bottom, the one which don't like water are at the top. So the distributed water is actually spread to their regular requirement. Putting the plants in an actual environment is also a challenge that can only be done by people who understand the science. Why I am stressing it? I am only stressing on the scientific aspects. This is 100 crore work which I spent automation and irrigation. 100 crores on one campus. Just imagine. Every third campus in India in the next 10 years will be of the same style. So you need to upgrade yourself in understanding the technology. How it works, what it works, where we are heading to. Sorry to say, I don't have sensors producers in India. I have to import everything either from Taiwan or from Germany. They are completely chock-a-block for the next 10 years.
my last Jubilee item. Yeah, I am. So, but last two had been that Mr. Prasanna Murthy Desai Sahib, Bangalore is visiting us, and I wish you to join us meeting. I thought that because he is saying I should go. So I would say to myself that I'm really fortunate and honored to be part of this meeting. Dr. Prasanna. We have our friends from the Department of Floriculture and Gardening here. And we have with us these guys from FPUs, my faculty, and most importantly, the students. आपने अभी सुना है एक बहुत ही खूबसूरत mix of language and influence, tremendous amount of influence. जब से उन्होंने शुरू किया, there was a pause. आपने कभी देखा pause आ गया बीच में? Pause नहीं आया. So beautiful fluency, so beautiful vocabulary, so beautiful words. आप लोग सोच रहे हो ऐसे नहीं बोल रहा, नहीं? ये जो आपको साइंस पता है कि you connected to speak itself. But let me, many of you must be asking some questions to yourself. How come Mr. Prasanna Murthy is standing here and then going non-stop? What was he doing? ये क्या हो रहा है? How did it come from? Where did it come from with him? There is no computer there. कहीं पीछे से कोई कंप्यूटर है, उसको आप ऑन कर दो, चलता ही जाएगा, और बाद में उसको कमांड दे दो, तो वही गाना बार-बार रिपीट हो जाए, ऐसा तो कोई कंप्यूटर नहीं। But what is it? पहले मैं आपसे चाहता हूँ कि आप थोड़ा सा आप लोगों ने इसको ऑब्जर्व करके मैं इसको बोलना चाहता हूँ। किया ना आपने इस बात को ऑब्जर्व? Hello, dear friends. What was that? Wonderful. He was sharing the tremendous amount of the experiences which he has at back. Where did those experiences and hard work? Two things he was sharing. But why from those experiences and hard work which made him speak so beautiful, fluency. It comes with some kind of vision in him, a kind of vision he has. And that vision, and besides that vision he had the passion, he had the commitment, not commitment to himself, but commitment to God. And he said that when someday I will be meeting God, I have a commitment to God, that God said when he wants to create Prasanna, God said, human being, he said that time to the angels that when I am going to create this new creature on earth, to the man, there was a lot of questioning to the God by some angels that don't do it. But God said that I am going to give you this wisdom, knowledge. And if he has given us wisdom and knowledge that he has committed to the angels, but we will ask her on the day of judgment, I have given you that wisdom and knowledge, what is that? What you made of that? He said that I will be very happy. And you should feel very happy when you do something in this world. You really got that when you came to me, this is what I care with. It's not mine, but this thing I am happy to come up with. So my dear friends, did you see that it was so motivational? Hello? Tremendously motivational? It was inspirational? It was spiritual? Finally, it was intellectual. What is intellectual? Reading books, reading nature, reading environment, reading people, and then trying to translate it. And then lots of technicalities he also spoke. And he also said that when I was embarking on it, it was not risky. There were always risks. If, for example, हमारे यहाँ यूनिवर्सिटी में बुलाना और ये प्रोडक्ट मेरे दोस्त हैं हमें, if they desire that, 10 times they will do it if we go there, and if we don't receive, if we say no, and this and that, so what should they do? It's a small thing, but they are one of the risks in collecting some, thousands of species around the world from all the ecosystems, and bringing it in India. And the biggest job what he has done, Raj, I would say, that he said that I will give some kind of assurance to the nation's sustainability. अगर कहीं भी किसी भी जंगल में आग लगी उस जंगल में जहाँ पे उसने वो लाया, लेकिन उसने एक कंजर्वेट किया ना हिंदुस्तान में तैयार करी, उसको बोलेगा कि this is what I had, sought from you. ये मेरे इसके पास एक बैंक है, इसलिए एक बैंक दे दिया है कंजर्वेट. So my dear friends, I am so pleased to be part of this meeting today, and it was really so inspirational to me as well. I am telling you very honestly. And every day when I get up, and I tell to my Lord that you have created everyone for a purpose. All of you are there for a purpose. Every one of you is unique. आप में से हर कोई अनोखा है और यूनिक है. God ने जो दुनिया में कुछ क्रिएट किया है, there is nothing without a purpose. कीड़ा, plants, trees, viruses, everything has purpose. हमको ऐसा लगता है कि सॉइल है, जब हम सॉइल को हम कीड़े मकोड़े देखते हैं, छोटे छोटे कीड़े, हमको ऐसे क्या कीड़ा मकोड़ा है, हमको काटेगा ये करे, but then God has not done it for nothing. As far as on soil it is life. 1 gram of soil contains billions and billions of your living organism in it. So every day when I get up, I go for a walk every day. What do I do when I just take a walk in the morning, maybe at 5:30 or 6? I cannot walk many areas to my mind. I can think that I can do an assignment to a professor last year, so he didn't do it. I will go to office and then start asking him and then bashing him because I have said it. I will go to my child and tell him that I have given assignment yesterday. You didn't fulfill the assignment. I will tell him, Chaprasi, why did you clean material? There are many people get these thoughts through when they are alone. But then in the mornings I ask to myself that I am the blessed one. I see this whole universe. मैं पूरी यूनिवर्स को थोड़ा देखना चाहता हूँ, इमेजिन करता हूँ कि यूनिवर्स की expand universe. It's dynamic. Isn't it? We are part of a small solar system. It is nothing. Solar system is nothing in this universe. There are one sun, couple, about 5, 7 planets. It is nothing. Solar system. And when you travel from one heavenly body to the another heavenly body, you travel light years. What do you mean by light year? Light year क्या होता है हमारे साथ? 1 सेकंड में लाइट चलती है कितने हजार किलोमीटर? 3 लाख किलोमीटर 1 सेकंड में. तो 1 लाख में कितने सेकंड है? तो 1 ईयर में मतलब 1 ईयर में कितने सेकंड है? उतने सेकंड उसको 3 लाख से मल्टीप्लाई करोगे इसका मतलब 1 लाख है. Distance is 1. So when we are just seeing this universe, we measure the distance of light years. नहीं करते? हम फुटबॉल की किलोमीटर में ऐसे मानते इतने हजार लाख ट्रिलियन किलोमीटर थोड़े बोलते हैं. We say light years. So if you just see in light years, this earth has no size. But as of today, we understand life is only a years. As of today, ये नहीं पता क्या हो सकता है. क्योंकि समझ आज तक यही पता है. अगर ये पता है कि life is on this earth, and this is so big and exciting universe. और इसी खूबसूरत से प्लेनेट में ऊपर वाले ने आपको पाया देखिए. अगर आप किसी बच्चे को यहाँ मेरे राइट में बैठे इसमें भी बोलते हैं यार मेरे पास एक स्कीम है आपको भी यहाँ से जो है ना व्हाइट हाउस पे बिठा देता हूँ. हाउ वुड यू फील इनसाइड? मान लो कुछ ऐसा हो गया या 10 डाउनिंग स्ट्रीट क्या है? व्हाट्स 10 डाउनिंग स्ट्रीट? बच्चों से बोलो 10 डाउनिंग स्ट्रीट क्या है? 10 डाउनिंग स्ट्रीट क्या है? बड़े बड़े नाम लेते हैं यहाँ दिल्ली में है अपना ऐसे ही नाम है कि नहीं बढ़िया. तो अगर मैं आपसे किसी को बोलूँगा वो ये है ना वहाँ से कार आ गया भाई आप में से ये बच्चा है ना 10 डाउनिंग स्ट्रीट कैसा लगेगा उसको? है ना? तो आपने 10 डाउनिंग स्ट्रीट कमरा है एक छोटी सी कंट्री को देखते हैं तो you are just one better than 10 डाउनिंग स्ट्रीट and open up your eyes and see and be thankful to God. And if you appreciate nature, आप वो आ जाएगा. Say for example, you breathe air. How is this expression? There are so many different layers, heavenly bodies. लेकिन जो कैप्सूल एयर है एक समझ आया मुझे कैप्सूल एयर पता नहीं क्या मैकेनिज्म है सम है ग्रेविटेशनल पुल है जिसकी वजह से कैप्सूल एयर है एंड दैट एयर कैप्सूल हैज different combination of gases, right? And then gases, those gases in the right combination, oxygen, nitrogen, carbon, they make me breathe and alive. If for a while something happens, then I have to breathe and life is death is imminent. कोई अपना नाक बंद करे मुंह बंद करे क्या वो जिंदा रह सकता है? If something happens tomorrow, God says something happens which also gravitational pull में ये कैप्सूल ये उड़ जाता है. What will happen? Everything will die. And God has created the ecosystem. मुझे ऑक्सीजन चाहिए ना तो कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड चाहिए. और मुझे ऑक्सीजन कैसे चाहिए? When I take oxygen into my body through lungs and everything through those hemoglobin, when it will reach that last cell, there is a reaction of cyclone of oxygen. Respiration. In that last reaction, that last molecule of the glucose gets metabolized into some ATPs, ATPs and some water and carbon dioxide, and those ATPs are available directly. See nature. One oxygen molecule in the air keeps your iron complete structure, but there's no value without that molecule of oxygen going into my body, going to the last cell, going to the last reaction, last cell from oxidation. When it will break down that molecule of glucose. So my dear friends, why I say it so, you can narrate it with the how plants are manufacturing this whole food through the process. Ye, you are everybody here for the first time and the last time. कोई देर में दूसरी बार आता है दूसरी बार जो करना है आज ही करना है you cannot put it for tomorrow कहते हैं कि मतलब do not put off till tomorrow what you can do today जो करना है आज इस जिंदगी में आज ही करना है हमने मिलना है जगह करने से और बताना है ऊपर वाले से कि मैंने उस सोसाइटी के लिए क्या किया है जिस सोसाइटी में आपने मुझे पैदा किया that's why I say I am trying some kind of inspiration from personality. So I will not imagine what I would say rather. I will speak, tell my colleague Dr. Nazji that it would be great and honor for us that if we enlist Mr. Prasanna Murthy Desai as our visiting adjunct faculty. I will really believe it. If he accepts it, I will say he accepts it. That if it is him, and not necessarily that say for example, मैं आपके साथ 24 घंटे बैठूंगा और आपको लेक्चर देता रहूंगा और मेरे कहने से एक बच्चे के भी सोच में चेंज नहीं आएगा तो क्या फायदा? If I am not just speaking for hours and years and months, if I am not bringing change to one of you, then what is one? So not necessarily that we come here and stay for weeks together, and a few lectures and a very virtual area. And another thing I would request to Mr. Dr. Nazji that we are constituting one expert committee. So, उस expert committee में again will be with Manjit. He has not a report here, so he will guide us here. Because उसके ambition है. Ambition क्या है उसका? उन्होंने ये भी बताया कि ये world player है. कोई भी नहीं होता क्रिकेट का player एक टीम का player होता है, एक किसी ग्रुप का player नहीं होता है. Can pick up there, what are the world there? So therefore, it is important to be part of that. तो तीसरा मैं आपसे सिर्फ बात करके देखिए कि हम अपने बच्चों के इस करिकुलम में क्या चीज ला सकते हैं जो हम पढ़ा रहे हैं. Because they have now make them ready for the newer challenges and opportunities. अभी तक सारा education system देश का बहुत खत्म हो गया है to make you more applied. Mother will service for others, but why not to do something where you will bring others in service for you? उल्टा तो करिकुलम में चेंज होगा. और तीसरा कि I would please explore with Prasanna ji that if our students could go to Bangalore and he makes them work like police, I would say like police. We don't want any kind of remuneration for that. but an experienced work there. जिंदगी में एक बार आपको काम करने में कहीं तो मौका मिला ना हाथ से, और ऐसे शुरू में मैंने बोल दिया आपको कि मेरे लिए तो ऐसा वर्चुअल है जो ये बता रहे थे, but then that virtual thing he has made it a reality. देखा नहीं आपने? और ये आपने देखा नहीं इनका जो स्ट्रगल प्रोडक्शन करके आपको पता था, पहले उन्होंने आपने वर्चुअल वर्ल्ड दिखाया, that was the virtual world, कौन सा बात है virtual world, क्योंकि प्रसाद जी आगे वो रियलिटी तो नहीं होगा, आगे वो डेवलप नहीं बनना होगा, तो आपको प्राइवेट आप ये बोलते थे कि वर्चुअल थिंग है, ये तो कैसे समझ लिया? आगे प्राइवेट के बाद जाता पर्सनालिटी बोलता सर ये कहता ठीक है, ये तो वर्चुअल वर्ल्ड बिल्डिंग क्या है नजर नहीं है, हकीकत तो नहीं है, आप समझ लो, but he has converted that whole thing into a reality. और जैसे वो बाकी बड़े-बड़े देश हैं, कुछ देश हैं जिन्होंने क्या किया, कह रहे थे चेरी हंसी जहाँ लगे थे, with one chili they brought a revolutionary agriculture. With one chili which went from not very cheese, it is an animal, nothing very. तो एक चूली यहाँ से टर्की से गया नीदरलैंड. See the change the best people have brought. The phenomenal business in Netherlands is $10 billion. $10 billion. हमारे पास जो फ्लावर है, जो टूलिप है, वाइल्ड आपने देखा होगा, ब्यूटीफुल वाइल्ड टूलिप ग्रो. क्या कलर मतलब डिजीज फ्री, 5 year old, है ना, नो न्यूट्रिशन, नो मैनेजमेंट, नथिंग, जैसे आपको टूलिप गार्डन में करना पड़ता है. But few colors, they put them there, they bred them, whatever they did, now we have those kind of beautiful colors of the tulips. And now that's why like Netherlands is the second largest producer of food in the world. India is 100 times bigger than them. Their total exports from the agriculture are $100 billion. They are 100 times smaller than us. And India's exports from agriculture are $50 billion. अगर इसका proportion कितने बिलियन डॉलर, अगर इसका proportion देखेंगे, हमारा एक्सपोर्ट कितना होने जाएगा, है ना? तो हम तो ऑलरेडी बंगे होते फर्स्ट कैटेगरी इकोनॉमी आर गुड बंगे होते. तो माय डियर फ्रेंड्स, मुझे कहीं जाना है, तो ये अभी आप ये सोचेंगे, इसके बाद एक और स्पीच होगा आपको, है ना? You should feel yourselves blessed already. These notices and your copies, all of you guys, I'll keep on recording, I'll keep it on my diary. Because everybody is not the same way. Sometimes you are lucky, sometimes you are not lucky. Today you are very lucky guys. So my best wishes to you, and thank you, Prasannaji. And where are you going back? What time? 2 o'clock. Okay. कदम करते हैं, नहीं कोई बात नहीं, चाय आपने नहीं कराया, चाय आप अगर तो कल सुबह हम अभी भी शाम को ही जाना है, सुबह हम देखो 11 करेंगे, ठीक है ना? तो आप साथ में रहेंगे, या एक काम करें, जब प्रॉब्लम डिस्टर्ब जरूर है, इतना लगे, है ना? इधर मेरे पास है, तो थैंक यू वेरी मच, गॉड ब्लेस यू ऑल.
Thank you so much for your kind words and speech there. More than thank you so much. Yes. More तो नहीं हो रहे ना आप लोग? हाँ? Let this session be interactive. आपका short presentation. उसके बाद I think I would love to hear from you in terms of let it be very open. You can be my critic. You can be. I don't want you to say wow everywhere. I really want you to make some difference in your mind, some difference in your heart. Okay, how we can become bigger? देश, राष्ट्र, ये सब बोलने के लिए सब कुछ ठीक ठाक है. मेरे जेब में पैसे हैं कि नहीं है? नहीं, आज तो नहीं है. लेकिन आने के लिए हमें क्या करना? दोपहर में I would love to see a more interactive session so that your questions are answered. I will present the remaining session quite aside how we get down from
concept to see to design to execution. Now execution to appreciation. वो execution नहीं होता तो शायद आज मैं आपके सामने खड़ा नहीं। शेयर करने की सिर्फ यही एक इच्छा थी कि what all it goes into getting a project done. It's a lot of permutations and combinations, lot of risk-taking ability, ready to take things head on. आपके लिए कोई नहीं मरने वाला, आप खुद मरोगे कोई आपको स्वर्ग मिलने वाला, नहीं तो नहीं मिलेगी। बाकी सब ऐसे आपको शेयर करके जाना। Can we play the presentation? I talked about soil. I talked about the tree transplantation. While we were doing the tree transplantation, the basic idea was to convince trees that we don't want to have. You might feel me as a mad. Do trees speak? Yes, because they are living me. We lost the art of compassion. We lost the art of compassion. Jagdish Chandra Bose almost got the Nobel, in terms of understanding that plants do communicate. After him, there are 18 or 19 Nobels which are directly or indirectly related to the compassion of plants and plants' response to the thing. So, when we were transplanting, the idea was we wanted it to be clear, and 13.5 crores was not budgeted. We did it out of curiosity that transplant karna, har baar save karna. We went down to media, we made a big news. कर दिया बाद में पता चला it is 13.5 crores. The budget is not allocated for 13.5 crores to replace the transplanted cost. So you have to either forgo from your reserve cost. So any project when you do, you need to make sure that your complete scope is understood. Second is understanding the available budget part. What is the budget available? And budget going into each line items. So every activity has a labor component, a material component, a design component, and an execution component, and plus operational cost and the maintenance cost, OPEX and CAPEX. So CAPEX is very easy to do. OPEX is a very difficult job because it's a recurring one. Operational cost expenses are recurring one. When you are planning for a large scale project, you need to make sure that you understand the scope, you understand the budget, available timeline, how do you execute, and how is the how you are going to maintain it. We started from understanding what is going to fail. So when you work in your life, look at all the risks involved, what the things are going to go wrong. तुम्हें कोई हैंड नहीं करने वाला risk लेने से. What are the things you are going to lose? You are going to lose time, you are going to lose money. So you understand what is going to go wrong, what remains is success. We started with understanding putting up a tree plants on a ceiling which is 60 meters high inside the terminal. Live plants, irrigation, light requirement, water, drainage. They did this beautiful design. They forgot how drainage system has worked. Bhul gaya. They had a great design. They are world's one of the best architects, but again humans. To airways human. They forgot how to drain out the water. When you put a pani inside a gamla, you always see that you need a tray. You keep a tray below, otherwise water starts flowing. Same situation happened. We had everything, but they forgot how to drain out. So while we were looking at during execution, draining out the water from the ceiling would have cost us 120 crores more. The budget allocated was 52 crores only to execute and do everything, all the jugaad. And everything is made in India. We promised ourselves, except bamboo, what you see inside the terminal, it's 960 kilometers of bamboo, which is a reconstituted bamboo of 4 mm by 6 mm. 6 inch की लंबाई, 4 mm की width है. हर एक चीज को equally काटा गया है. They are all bound together by machine, and it is as strong as iron. 960 kilometers supply in 1 year is not possible in India. Even though bamboo is a grass, grows faster, available in India, but you don't have the uniformity nor the technological support in India. So we went back exploring multiple nations who can supply the final product, make it and give it to us. come from Oriental country. Japanese, the Germans have actually have a technology in terms of making it as a system, put as a repeatable system which we actually can do it like a Lego. So it is placed in the terminals. 960 kilometers in 1 year is not a joke. Placing that, everything is cladded, old terminal, ceiling is all about that, sustainable material, and fire resistant for 4.5 years. Anything you do indoors, make sure that the last infrastructure is required fire rating norm. So you also need to understand when you work in a project, this is not done in a regular bedroom. What are fire rating norms for each material, whether it is plastic, whether it is flower, whether it is tree, whether it is bamboo? You need to understand the fire ratings for every material out of curriculum. When you Google, please Google this item so that you are aware about whether you work in India, whether you work abroad. These things are basic necessity apart from the standards. So we looked at bringing it in gradually. When we looked at RET, I already spoke about species. This is a little older slide. So we have moved on from this. Transplantation, I spoke. Transplantation is a big billion industry in India because nobody is influenced for transplantation. When you go to a country like Thailand, 60% of their large tree produce is all transplanted from the new development. It is inevitable that every city is going to go through a lot of changes. Srinagar is becoming smarter. Likewise, nearly 400 cities in India are becoming smart cities. So that means road expansion, bringing in the median, bringing in the pathways, bringing in a lot of things. That means we are ending up giving away the plant species which are already there in that space since ages. The best technology is to transplant. For transplanting, it in a regular way is a 6-month process. Open up one side and wait for 2 months so that the new branch shoots arise. You reduce the canopy of the tree by half a meter. It's a special field called as arboriculture. We have been taught as one arboriculture curriculum नहीं है तो आप लोग there is a specialized degree program worldwide in arboriculture. Understand the basic principles of arboriculture so that how do you manage planting a tree is very easy, but managing a tree is a challenge. It's a pure science, and plants also get cancer, plants also get sardi, khasi, bukhar. So you need to understand how to manage them. You also need to maintain them on the median, in the median, what tree to plant, what is the root ball, what is the girth it has to have. So these are all gone into details when we actually transplanted, and we saved nearly out of 7,954 species. Right now, 7,300 are working. That's a 85% plus is a survival ratio. It is both emotional and scientific. We follow the scientific way. I have a white paper on that in terms of how do we do that, in terms of how we do the entire how the success ratio. The basic understanding I'll define in the second half lecture what we talk about. We started exploring what are all the possibilities of bringing into the airport. The idea was when we do a project, we wanted to showcase that an airport can also be a theme park. The idea was to convert a place which is very anguish filled to a beautiful experience. We went on and experimenting on. Now Google knows much more than they know about you. You know about yourself. The day you start looking at some white color kurta, that entire day you will only get white color advertisements in all your social media. That is AI induced. So it is all about putting up your efforts. So once you enter my airport, now we are developing an AI-based system where when you come here, you will how do you explore my airport? It's very tough as an individual to explore an airport. The day Dr. Sir comes to my airport, and that day is his birthday. He is not able to recollect it, but my system knows it. So it will say, Dr. Sir, happy birthday to you. You will be shocked to see that how come an airport is wishing your birthday and how does they know it. That's a kind of intensity on which we are all working. The day you come there, and my system has already given entire thing about you except your bank details. We know entire history of what you have Googled in your last 10 years cycle. So it says that you are born with one tree. Because I know you are a professor, so you are always interested. Born with one tree, you will be curious. If you click that button, it will take you to a web which will keep you engaged for next 2.5 months. The moment you enter in that, is my birth tree. We are all born with a tree. That's, you need to understand. I am not joking. We are all born on a particular day or a particular time frame or a particular month or place. Everything is denoted in the historical context. I don't call any of the our religious texts as mythical. They were never mythical. They were all historical documentation told in an emotional format. So we always understood by English word called as mythology. Nothing is mythical. Everything is history. Everything is documented. Everything can be attached to the place and the plant content. I am only talking from a perspective of plant. Whether the life of Jesus, whether it's life of entire Islam, or whether it's life of entire Hindu religion, everything can be denoted by a tree. A person's life actually starts with a plant. You are born on a particular day, you have a date of. You are born with a particular Rashi Nakshatra, if you believe in that culture, everything is denoted by it. So that is where we wanted to tell you a story and keep you engaged in the narrative. So that went on and we started putting up the thing. So Rashi, then Nakshatra, then cultures, religion, state, then your country, everything is denoted. So I know you are from Norway, so you will say that bell number 21 has plans for your nation. You will be quite curious to look at which plant has come from that country. Secondly, it is connected to revenue generation. I sold that bell to a Norwegian airline. So that bell maintenance is sponsored by that particular country. So it is adopted by them. So finally, these places require a lot of money to run the show. It is not easy because living being needs a large capital investment in the initial stage as well as maintenance cost at a later stage. So we wanted to convert this project into a revenue generation model, not only by selling plants, but by telling story, by selling story, by connecting you. It will end up taking you to a shop where you have a white color kurta which you like very much, and I compel you to buy it whether you really want to spend it or not. That is the way a thing can convert itself into a revenue generation model. When you look at the thing, end of the day, it all needs to convert to become then it makes fun for you, it's fun for me, it's fun for the one who employed me. So it is all about revenue generation. When you plan for a project, look at how do you generate money from the deeds or from a regular working environment. From there, we started creating ecological systems. I don't want to touch into the family generally, you are all aware about themes. Themes in the sense, when you develop a garden, it is based on some scheme. So somebody who understands landscaping, we teach one course, I think 1+1 course are very landscape. So wherein they used to teach about Mughal gardens, European gardens, and Indian gardens. Then Ayurveda, etc., this one, that one. So then we started putting up those stories. Now I narrate around 450 different stories. So when you come there, I leave you with an mesmerizing experience about telling the story of a plant and connecting that back to you. At the end of the day, it's all connecting the dots, making it work for you. Go to the next slide. I spoke about climate smart irrigation already. Next slide. So this is one small park which is created in 25 acres of land, which holds all these 3,600 species. All these stories what I related to you is all part of it. If somebody works as a horticulture officer, if somebody wants to start a nursery, or somebody wants to do a designing of any landscape garden, look at what is the client need, what do they want, what is that he is looking for or she is looking for, and try to understand your subject so very well that every idea of yours can convert it into a revenue. In that scenario, we did a pristine forest development. Whatever we collected, We actually grown it for last 3.5 years. 3 years is a gestation period for this business. You need to understand. When you grow trees require 3 years to mature. From becoming a tiny 1, 2, 3 mm size to a 4-inch kind of situation, it takes around 3.5 years of investment. We started with that. We collected many species. That species includes 1,300 tree species. Only place in India where you can see 1,300 tree species, not a botanical garden, an airport, to look at 1,300 species, not varieties. In terms of varieties, I might end up around 4,000 varieties of trees. Because cassia is 4 colors, likewise like Bohemia. Bohemia monandra is a beautiful species of Bohemia. Monandra comes in 6 different colors. Species is only one, colors are 6. Again bred and reproduced very well in Thailand. And for your kind information, I can be able to speak to you in multiple languages, and English is my basic tone. If I go to Thailand, I need a language converter. When I give the lecture there, it takes me 6 hours to deliver a half-an-hour lecture because they have to understand from English to other languages. We also carry that, one of the lineage that we all understand English better than our mother tongue. That is one more advantage we all have to work in a world environment. In that scenario, we looked at bringing in the trees. You also can sell the trees to multiple worlds. Language is not a barrier when you have a better material, quality, product, pricing, and availability. Go to the next slide. We are not as blessed as any other places, so we need to capture our water. The airport is completely divided off. We are energy positive. We don't tap to any of the government supplies. We generate from renewable sources. 22% of our electricity need comes from our own campus. We have solar cells on every ceiling, every building, including offices, terminal, or small canteens. All ceilings are all having a solar cell. So we generate 22% of our energy need. We generate more than what we consume on water. Every drop what falls on campus is actually collected in the ponds. I have a large 14 ponds in the 4,000 acre campus. My daily requirement is 5 million liters per day. 5 crore liter पानी लगता है मुझे हर दिन to run a 4,000 acre campus. How do I generate so much of water? By capturing entire road runoff, surface runoff we capture. We treat every drop of water to a drinkable proportion by a virtue of, again you need to make a note of it, it is called as ABC, active, beautiful and clean principle. It is a principle which is adopted by Singapore government. It's compulsory. Water has to be treated like, during our granny's period, we used to filter water through different layers of sand. Before the era of treated water came to picture, our ancestors always had a system of treating the water. So, same technology came from Singapore, so it is ABC. But if my granny said the same story, we would have never accepted it. Same 9 different layers of filtration media and clever use of plants. There are 146 species of water-loving plants which filters which actually absorbs micronutrients, macronutrients, and dust. So basic problem with us is our water is muddy. We cannot drink that muddy water. So how do you do that? You filter it through the plant roots. That whole system is the 9 different layers of filtration media and the clever use of planting of 146 species. What happens? Surface runoff is actually collected, gradually get filtered, and it goes to the lake. That is almost a kilometer long by 60 meter and 12 meter deep. You can actually see the 5-lane road on the right hand side and this botanical park on the left hand side. What we did is the slopes we protected by bringing in beautiful plantation. So I can rent out this place for birthday party to shadi to film shooting to anything. It's a nice curated garden. Again, a business proposition. this could have been done as any small garden left as it is. No. How do we generate money? If at all this system, this campus has to run for another 100 years till the airport lasts, you need to look at the revenue generation possibility. So these become the revenue generation possibility. I have 14 large lakes. I generate my own water. I have no lake. I have no river. Either it is the water what you drink inside my terminal is filtered through this system. Only thing plants which cannot absorb is the heavy metals, arsenic, molybdenum, all those heavy metals. Plant requires 6.5 months to 1 year to absorb the heavy metal. We don't have that kind of patience. So what we do is we actually push this water to filtration room where there are 3M filters which actually can filter the remaining effluents like your heavy metals. They are treated. Whatever you drink in my terminal is much better than any distillery water or any treated water what you get. It's pure natural water, which is almost equivalent to a mineral water. You can drink it. That water gets converted into a grey water. That grey water we drink it. We use it for through sewage treatment plants, STP. Anything which is grey is treated through STP by biomechanical ways, and that gets converted into a usable water, reusable water. 50% goes to the chiller unit. AC runs on chiller. So water 50% to chiller and 50% goes to irrigation unit. Go to the next slide. Transplantation I already spoke. What we transplanted actually is replanted. You can actually see the same plant they came back. So while you walk inside the terminal right now, when you see those plants, they were all my own 20-25-year-old plants. We harvest, we preserved them, we stored them in a container like this. Is such a container here. It's a simple chicken mesh with a barrier mat. You need to tell the tree that our only intention is to save you and give you one more place that will exist. I'm not joking. When I travel in Spain, whenever you travel in Spain, when you look at the nurseries are not small 100 to 200 kind of thing. Nurseries are one lady, she is Isabel, 24 years young. She manages 200 kilometer nursery. I entered that nursery in 1 day, which is automated because they have a shortage of labor in Spain. Laborers are basically from Africa. African labor, such as other labor, so they bring in from Africa. But the only issue is with again, as usual, laborers have their own difficulties in terms of theft, knowledge. What they have done, that lady give you entry at different locations. There is a self-serving hotel on the highway. You drive through and you enter the nursery. You go and there is a barcode. You just select that thing, click it, and she gets that information sitting at least 150 kilometers away in the garden center. She gets that information that you have selected this plant. The moment you go and final payment is done, you can do it there itself or you can go and do it in her garden center. In next few days, you will be landed in your house. And it is a kind of marketing strategy what is done there. Everything is mechanized. I show you what mechanization is up to, what standards are. Go to the next slide. This is one more jugaad. So we Indians retaining walls. You are all in an environment which is hills and slopes. So same situation. While we were doing the main road from 2 lane to 5 lane plus a metro lane, that's actually a development of 60 meters of roads, width wide, and the metro corridor in between. We ended up digging the main road because once you drive that 8 kilometer long stretch, you are driving on a bridge, you come at the aggregate level, then you go down by minus 12 meters when you get to the terminal. So, terminal, once you come out of the terminal, if you want to take the metro is 12 meters below the ground. On the metro station, we have two large lakes, which is built. Metro is literally below the lake. So, while we were doing that episode, we ended up opening
opening the field road and slopes started coming up. We always put up a retaining wall. So we always do an ugly retaining wall, either with stone masonry or we do it with the concrete. We thought, why can't we do which is breathable, what is a live thing? This guy, I was working in Johannesburg, we retained the soil by doing a terra post block. It's actually block. Once you see this, it's actually cement block, 1 feet up, which is hollow in the center, which are interlocking. It actually opens up a 4-inch by 4-inch kind of pocket. So when we place it, you can retain soil up to gradient of 45 degrees. 45 degrees तक का gradient get how it is done? First they soil nail. The soil nail will be bare, balanced soil is nailed to it. 4 to 6 meter nails. Lamba nail they actually put with the machine. They make a drill. They put it inside. After that they put the chicken machine and chicken mesh and do the vanity. 4 inches of vanity. On top of that they start putting up these hollow blocks. So in totality, it's actually one large spot of 4 meter to 8 meters at the larger end. It's actually hollow. So when we fill the plant media, it acts as one large plant. We were not convinced only with the shrubs and shrub bed. Again, the detail was how do we create a valley kind of a drive. When you drive in Srinagar surrounding, you see that those cheer pines popping out of the that slope. So that was always there in my mind. So जुगाड़ जो road runoff के लिए जो बड़े pipes यूज होता है डाया of 1.2 मीटर to 900 3 फुट से लेके 4.5 फुट का डाया है. We just embedded that inside this terracotta. पक्का idea जुगाड़ never been done. First time we were ready for failure. So finally, the trees require Mother Earth to grow. To put them in a pot, they may not be doing well unsustainable period. So we thought to make sure that the pipe is connected to Mother Earth. Only thing what we convince trees is you need to give a larger taproot again to go to the ground. So we made sure that we planted around 500 large full-grown trees which were transplanted into these new pipes. It took around 1.5 years to get set to a newer environment because it's only 1.2 meter diameter, only 900 meter diameter. So trees took a little more time to acclimatize, but they did. Then we started with planting the shrubs. So while you drive those 4 kilometers near the terminal, what you see is complete fragrant plants collected from world. The idea is after another 2 years, during the middle day, I want you to shut down your AC from your car. The glass is down. You smell those beautiful roses. You see the roses also and you smell the rose. You smell nearly 80 species of fragrant plants collected from world. In a different time period you can smell. So we actually advertise that this is the period from January to February. This is blooming. You can see the flower. You can smell the flower. So the idea is to do that 4 kilometers going to the terminal, 4 kilometers going towards the school. So this is a new way of retaining soil. Complete retained jugaad, we didn't patent it, we made sure that it's open for all to experiment and do it. Somebody can improvise it. Every bit is irrigated, drip line, and the trees also have a drip line. We have sensors here. The challenge is when we started all these, we also had a 2-meter planter on the ground level. So initially we planted everything, we understood every drop we actually put a drip line there, started accumulating, and my buttons were always overflowing. Failure of entire planting material at the bottom because they are always in the water. We shifted from a tropical palette to straight away to a water-loving palette. So while you are driving there, you see only alocaceas, colocaceas, and all heliconias, rhizome plants, which loves plants, and the trees which come in the water. The change of pattern, change of thought process, understanding or learning from the mistake. We made mistakes.
I am very proud of doing mistake, but we learn and we actually repair it. Go to the next slide. See, while I was talking about the metro station, this is actually the metro station which is 12 meters below the ground. These two are the two large gates. This is my terminal. You will walk from the terminal, you are walking there, you are actually walking here, and you come and take the metro station. Your car parks are here, your metro average taxis are below. It's an entertainment zone. Basically, it's like a Dubai mall. When you come here, the only intention is to take the entire money in your pocket. You should spend on my campus and go home khali pocket. So that I am happy, you are happy carrying the experience. That's what the lighter note. But end of the day, the intention was to make people spend time, take memories from the existing place. Go to the next. Coming to best and waste, the South India is all known for the large temple complex. The influence what the architect had was from the palace of multiple religions. Palaces are part of multiple religions like Islam, not Islam, Jainism, Buddhism, Hinduism, and Christianity. All four have the bell system. So the idea was to bring in bell, but my shapes are not typical temple bell. It is bell. You need to understand it's actually a light fixture. It is not bell. It actually serves as my light fixture in the dome. They are my main light source in the night. So we developed with plants. We experimented around 830 species which can work in this environment. 2019 the experiment started. Entire terminal is soil free. It is soilless. So you might ask me then on which what you are growing these plants. So we had our own secret mantra of 30 different ingredients from the perlite, vermiculite, magnetite, hematite, all those inert media. So you might ask why inert media? In the inert media, inert means completely developed because I heard some engineers here. So just to explain them more, inert means it doesn't have any properties. It only helps plant to grow. Soil, a media which helps the plants to give the roots, absorb the nutrients, and where I can put the water and the nutrients together. So I have a fertigation system. The challenge with the fertigation system is requirement, food habits, and the need are quite different from each other. So the fun is we made sure that the irrigation lines for particular plant material. So irrigation, if you look at it, these plants are all in a 4-inch by 4-inch potted system. Initially, there was a felt system which was recommended. Felt is not good. Felt is cloth. Felt is cloth. It's a sticker cloth, which is not allowed in the infestation of mosquitoes. Mosquitoes can breed easily into the wet environment. So it is not allowed in term. So that is bigger challenge. So no felt means we have to go for a potted condition. And pot also should not hold moisture. Challenge was they forgot the drainage system, and I did not have money. Again, jugaad. So what happens is when the water drains from the top, water is collected at the bottom. Bottom is like a section, is section. It's actually light, and it actually serves my storage tank. Small, there are 3 types of wells: small well, medium well, and large well. Small well is just 1.2 ton. Medium well is around 1.8 to 2.2 ton. Large well is 4.8 ton. Survey here, घर पे चटनी लेके जाने. That's kind of a load what it carries. On the lighter note, I always say we have a 620 live element load on the ceiling. The ceiling is planned to hold that kind of a load. If you look carefully, they are all on a string. Each bell is put on 4 strings. One string is capable of holding the entire load. एक टूटा तो और एक, वो भी टूटा तो और एक, वो भी टूटा तो और एक. चौथा टूटने की चांस ही नहीं because terminal भी टूट गया है. Earthquake load. Where it comes from? It directly relates back to seismic load. So, in which zone of seismic activity you are? When you are planning for something weird like this, you need to understand what is practical load of that entire system plus the what if the earthquake comes in? Earth is shattering on a daily basis. We don't hear the tremor because they are less than 2 or less than 1 sometimes. But it is always shaking because we are revolving, so it is always shaking more. If it crosses Richter scale 6, we have a Nepal situation, what I happened last week. When we actually calculate, we need to understand the ceiling has to be calculated for that load. Apart from that, live load, 1.2 ton is a static load. Static load is bina plants, bina soil media, bina water. Add 4 ton static load to the entire system. Whenever you are working on a podium scale or inside an environment, अगर किसी के घर के ऊपर आप प्लांट बना रहे हो, make sure either your ceiling is built for that load or you are on top of the column. Columns are only places where you can actually give the load. I think actually engineering graduates will understand the structural load and how it is distributed. Yeah, it's all in the greenhouse. So structural load you need to understand. We made sure that entire water is actually captured at the bottom, bottom, and that water is actually recirculated first. So irrigation system when it starts, it's not a direct system. In irrigation also we made sure that entire plant color is very aesthetically pleasing. Out of 830 species, some are dark green, some are variegated, some are purple, some are white, variegation pattern, and there are nearly 600 combinations of patterns. So the idea is whenever you come to this place, I want you to take up your selfies every time, and then those selfies have to change every time. The fun is when passengers, there are very many passengers who will be flowing through the day or through the month or once in a year. The first time you always go wow time. Second time would be less wow. Third time would be chhod do. Fourth time ignore. They pass it. The idea is every time I need to keep you engaged, keep you enticed. So that led us to 13 calendar holidays. The entire terminal actually has a new dress. Because 13 calendar holidays, people will be, the crowd will be more. Apart from that, we also have noted some 6-7 holiday calendars. So, month of particular festival, we make sure that the terminal is decked up for that. That means, one, static material, that is 70%, 30% is changeable. Changing material. So, so that we can change the pattern with color of flowers, with plant species, the differentiation in the structure of the leaf or a pattern of the leaf. That also actually adds on to the beauty. Bells are quite complex, veils are quite very easy. Veil is completely static. It only adds to the architectural character of the entire environment. Bells is the only challenge. Small bell holds around 400 plants, medium bell holds around 800 plants, large bell holds around 4,700 plants. Each plant, one leaf per week, is 6.5 lakh leaves to collect. 400 people get employment. 24/7 I work because morning time the international crowd is there, so I am allowed to work in the international arena. In the second half, later half, there is a lead period of 40 minutes to 45 minutes. Understand it's not days here, it is minutes. I get 22 seconds to 2.5 minutes to attend one pot. Now challenge is when we go up 16 minutes up in the ceiling, we don't have time to repot. We have to replace. So the fun is how fast. The people are trained for replacing it faster. Replacing it faster with a pattern. He cannot replace randomly. He has to follow the pattern. So understanding is you need to train people for understanding the nuance of design. Because नीचे आने के बाद पता चला 2 hours out of context ऊपर नहीं जा सकते because your time is up. So you will be thrown out of the entire working area. So you need to be careful along with the people who understand the design. Your team also need to be equally aligned with the things required. Go to the next slide.
Sir, how many bells and wheels are there?
127 bells right now and 362 weights. Weights are 4 typology, bells are 3 typology. Go back to one slide. If you look in the cluster wise,
Sir, which one is better?
this is bell. Clearly visible. Bell is like bell only. Three typology. Waves are fold typology. There are three layers. Some are two layers. Some are two layers and some are three layers.
Sir, we have mentioned that
So good question. This is actually the tank. Small well has 7.5 liter water. How do I manage irrigation? Irrigation is managed on the sensor. There are 4 different level sensors. One is the inlet. Should be at the ceiling level, you can see the pipe pointer right. ये बेल के ऊपर थोड़ा सा उधर राइट यहाँ वो up on the ceiling ceiling out तो एक सेकंड है यहाँ पे ऊपर जाना पूरा ये लाइन पकड़ के ना ये वाली लाइन you can see that solenoid valve on the top. So solenoid valve के नीचे there is a first level sensor which lets in and give me a requirement कि कितना पानी अंदर आया. I get that from my cell. I get from my laptop and my maintenance team has all this document. How much water has come inside? That is the first level check. What happens is we have a 3 different layer pots. Each level after becoming 100% saturated, that takes 2.5 seconds. Not minutes, it takes only 2.5 seconds to saturate. The irrigation cycle precisely is 7.5 minutes for the entire terminal. I cannot irrigate more. I can give you only that much which is required to keep the plant alive and happy. No over irrigation. Over irrigation means my capacity will overflow. So then I have a mid-level sensor to check whether each is draining over onto one another or not, and it is getting collected. I don't want excess water collected at the bottom. We need to give precision to an extent of micromilliliter. You need to understand what we are speaking. We are speaking to. No, now coming to the last point. Understand. You are coming from Srinagar, you are going for a meeting, you are in full suit. Drop of water on your suit or on your head or on your salwar, you all can sue me. In India, but in Europe, no, everything drains out here. Everything drains out here. Now I come back to that. What happens is, once it drains out, I have 2 sensors at the bottom. One is the level sensor, which actually measures this level. Just look carefully. This is it. I have a 6.5 inch space to store. So 1.7 liter, 70 liter, 170 liters is the capacity of each barrel. Small, medium, and large. At mid level of filling, I get a warning. That the water is half filled. So when they go for maintenance, when they go on the scissor lift or the spider lift, like these are all very high tech machines. In 3.5 minutes, he can work in one cluster. Anyone who is working in this cluster has 3 to 5 minutes to wind up the show. You cannot sit down and think there. You need to go up, what is the problem, and I have a 3-way communication system. One, each cluster talks to one section. Each section talks to one zone. Every zone talks to the mother. There is a mother controller at the top. So everybody sends a signal. Once you come to the terminal, you will actually see a red light glowing or a green light glowing inside the terminal. Actually, it is not glowing before. On a visual note, when I walk inside the terminal, if it is green means everything is fine. They are communicating to each other, they can talk to each other. If one section is designated for 3 liters of water in 3.5 seconds, if the disbursement is more than that, that means there is a trouble. And I get a warning immediately. And system sets off on its own. That there is either leakage somewhere or everything runs on AI. It's all automated.
How much time is all working? How much time?
2019 October I started this experiment. Everything is jugaad. You saw it more than
The Jugaad is working precisely.
the jugaad is not jugaad, it's science. The guys who have designed this is a grand associate. They failed miserably in Florida. In Florida Museum, when you go to Florida, there is a large museum, you can Google. You will see a cylindrical system. And they are very fascinated by this design of doing this hanging garden. They call it a hanging garden. So cylindrical thing, I just went there to see the entire floor has a green allular glow. That means it is dropping. Everyone in that area, they just walk across because it is dropping farther. There are some dots here. I said, there were 1400 systems when I joined this organization. I said, it's impossible to manage 1400 systems, let's reduce it. From 1400 we came down to 650. After putting a gun on the heads of management, it nahi manage ho payega. Understand? Nobody has done it successfully. If you really want to do it, either you have to do it with glaciers, which don't require water, but they are not beautiful. Glaciers are not aesthetically breathing plants. They bloom, when they bloom, they look very beautiful. Orchids, one flower in 1 year, and so much of way to manage that plant. बहुत अलग है. थोड़ा ये हो गया, it will not bloom the full stick to bloom. You need to provide that kind of environment. Too much like managing a film actress. So we say let's avoid all this. Avoid. Look at something which is sustainable and long term. So anthuriums do wonder. The seasonals do wonder. At least they run for 1 month, 2 months, 3 months cycle. But without flowering,
Seasons are used for
they are good, extremely good. Anthuriums, which are these small anthuriums, those small petty anthuriums, they actually can run for 6 months. One time plant for 6 months. For longer period, continuous flowering. After 1 week, you will see one more flower coming out. And because it's an inert media, we control both sunlight, we also control irrigation, we also do fertigation through system. And every system is communicated back to us. We have, if you carefully look, each and every planter has asparagus. It doesn't look that beautiful, but asparagus is an indicator plant. We use indicator plants in agriculture. Again, same technology, same thought process in aesthetical landscape. One plant will be there, which is indicator. It is only known to me and my team. No one else knows it. You might see one Veda, what is it doing there? That Veda is actually helping us in terms of water requirement. You will see the stress quickly if it is not irrigated properly. So there is one guy who is actually an indicator plant. When the water gets collected, the first and foremost thing is when the irrigation cycle starts, the irrigation first cycle is using the same water. Irrigation is never let in until unless this water becomes to the lower level sensor. So there is a bottom level sensor, upper level sensor, and a mid level sensor. So there are 3 sensors. Then there is a relative humidity sensor in the environment and root zone temperature. If root zone temperature crosses more than 26 degrees, one of the parameters to set the irrigation on. So there are 4 parameters required to start the cycle of irrigation. Irrigation is not time based. Irrigation is need based. Change of thought process. Because one, I don't have water. Second, more water is more threat for me. So you need to look at all alternate. This is all trial and error. It took nearly 2019 to 2020 to September to convince ourselves that we are 90% 90% active. 10% is still risk I carry. We never work for the pressure of pipelines what we use. Now I understand where I am going wrong. I have nearly 400 kilometers of pipeline. 400 kilometers of pipeline.
What distribution of water?
Oh yes, the pressure is around 7 to 9 bar, and the distribution is need based again, cluster based, time based. All parameters are set. It run by the system, not by us. Right? We have standard program for 2 Rutus. Rutu wise, 5 different minor seasons in India. We are not 3 season based. We are 5 season based, and the direction of sunlight, Uttarayan and Dakshinayana. Because the sun's radiation which comes inside the terminal is also calculated. Plus the light radiation in which we are working on. Currently we are in green spectrum, so the need is more. So we want them to grow, establish, grow faster, become fuller. So during these 30 calendar days, 8 days prior, we set it to red to from red to violet spectrum. So whoever is there, flowering, guys, they get in you, and we also put the potash fertilizers. Potash actually helps to bring in the flowering induction into the system. But the idea is the leafy stuff should not get affected. So the distribution cycle, if you look at the irrigation distribution, the pattern has one irrigation band. Wherever there is a pattern, that's a changing thing. This is a clear pattern, you can see here. Wherever there is pattern, that is the only place where the plants are going to change. So that has a typical system of irrigation distribution. It also comes with typical fertilizer.
This contrast it has to be artificially changed. You have created a contrast on that.
Yes. How will you change your DP every time? Every time you need to put it into the social media so that I get the mileage. That it's 30% population. And go to the next. This is about irrigation. Drainage was failure from the designer. This is how the same water is being used. Thank God, since last September we are operating, no complaints, no overflow. System, we started with failures. That's why I say you guys need to start with failures. What is going to go wrong in that? Start plugging in one by one so that. Oh, where else in the world? इतना जुगाड़ वो नहीं करेगा, अब नौकरी करें भाग जाएगा।
Ultimately जो money मॉडल है के लिए how sustain कैसे करेगा how they earn.
You are very much fond of this area. You like one well. I know you are my potential client. I will say that I will put your name, I will play your music, I will play your lighting requirement. I will also change your mood, and I will put your advertisement. I am creating a small band of TV screen, a template TV screen, which only plays your IP, file number 32 is adopted by you, your name is on top of it, and it only plays your music. It will do all sorts of things, whatever you want to. I want you to adopt that bell, pay me 4 crore per annum.
Already operation for 1 day.
1 day. I spent 56 crores on this entire system. The idea is to recover 560 crores per in 1 year. How do you make revenue generation? Green wall. You see a green wall. The green wall has 4.5 lakh live plants, 400 species. One green wall per annum, one section has gone for 40 crores. One ad, one big name. Dr. India's 40 crores per annum. One car ad, one shirt ad, or one drinks ad, or no sir, sorry, in Copenhagen, I'll tell you the greenest city of the world. You guys need to take the students to Copenhagen. I'll get it arranged if you really want to see the world's largest green wall, largest green roof. World Green Roof Congress happens annually in Berlin, Copenhagen, Malmo, Stockholm. -20 degrees. Full of greenery. Every wall, every house, non-tropical plants. Non-tropical plants. 30% of my plants are sourced from jungle. When we walk inside the forest, I am one of those guys who always look for something which works in one crevice. Nobody is feeding them, nobody is putting water. If that plant is surviving there, pluck that out. Bring that into aesthetics. It has its own beauty. You may not like it, but he likes it. Maybe he likes it. Perception of landscape differs from person to person. And plant also thrive well when you put them under stress. When we are in stress, we do very well. When all things are provided easily, we are all a spoiled brat. So that's why we actually collected from forest to understand the plant behavior. Goyas, literally I looked at it from Borneo. 400 species. एक प्लांट को करने के लिए 15 लाख रुपए से लेके 5 लाख रुपए से लेके 15 लाख रुपए स्पेंड किया एक क्रीपर लाने के लिए. पब्लिक हंसेगी मेरे ऊपर. But if we would have not experimented that, I would have never even shared my thought process. All the efforts have gone into understanding plant behavior, understanding plant requirement. When we are actually traveling in the nature, look in your surrounding, everything provides you a clue. What to put, what not. Temperate countries, the green roofs and green walls originated in temperate countries. The father of green wall, maybe the next अगली बार Kakado will be here. I will make sure that he puts up his one presentation to the students. Patrick Blanc. Just Google the name of Patrick, P-A-T-R-I-C, Patrick, B-L-A-N-C, Blanc. He's Patrick Blanc. He is the guy who is a botanist by professor in Paris University. He is the father of modern green walls. He plays with tropical plants. He also plays with temperate plants. He himself is a walking dictionary. He can identify the world's largest collection of plants. He himself travels. He took a bit of Yuccas are from vegetarian India. There are, because they were in temperate zone. And like this, green walls have been established. Green walls, one drains to other. My green wall pocket is such a large pocket. Again, the philosophy in my entire terminal is J. The green wall, we don't plant anything in the direct into the pockets or pot. Everything is planted in a pocket. Thaili, though the small bag pot ladies carry, small thaili, that's an inspiration. Those red, yellow thaili what they carry during marriage was an inspiration. So thaili we have actually put up all these media. And how does that help? I have two systems. Model R4 is this model where it has a cavity to hold around 1 kilogram of media. 1 kilogram is sufficient to grow a palm, full scale palm. That's the kind of root volume it can hold on. It is restricted in 8 inch by 8 inch pots, and they are all modular. Here, the success of maintenance is over all modularity. I hope you are not getting bored. It's all about the modularity, because time is a constraint here. Modularity is the game changer. So green wall, it's all two different models. Handkerchief gave us an idea to put up cassette, video cassettes, you remember? Yes. Two hydrophilic foam video cassettes tucked together, plants are placed inside, handkerchief is tied. So we made it more modern looking now. So those are all with 150 GSM clock put in a particular cassette style. Typically, the way we used to arrange those old cassettes in our house. The inspiration is from those cassette boxes only. Growing with R3 model is a cassette box. It's on the right hand side. It's an R3 model. So उसके अंदर डालने के बाद what happens? हाँ, वैसे ही डाला होगा. Once plants start growing, the roots come outside the growing medium, outside this pocket. Once it gets exposed to the environment, white root turns into brown. Root dies. That means plant breathes, plant absorbs everything. If it starts developing too many white roots, it gets exposed to environment. I don't need to cut it because the roots die, plant becomes stagnant. Pure science. I don't need to cut plant on a daily basis. The more the happier plant, more restricted it will be, more the stunted it will be. You might ask me, how did cutting karoge? Nahi. Cutting comes once in 6 months. There are only known, devils with whom I have managed. So all these money plants or pothas or peperomias, what we talk about, peperomias can sustain -20 degrees. Peperomias work wonderfully well in Europe. Peperomias are all very tropical plants. Plants are very resilient, we need to understand. Until unless we expose them to that kind of environment, we don't understand. And the large scale research is done in US and in Europe on peperomia. All variations what we see in peperomia is not done in tropical regions. All came from temperate. So peperomias, we try to use it and look at the combination. One is the shape of leaf, growth of leaf, pattern of leaf, and different combinations and permutations of it. This is green ball. And come to planting media here. Here the challenge was in the video you might have seen. I have actually put a copper oxychloride on many of these plants. They started getting a parallel infection. When you actually introduce plants from an unknown territory like Canary Islands, Galapagos Islands, and from Suporto, they in the natural condition they don't have any known enemies, no pest, no disease. That's why they survive for 4,000, 5,000 years. But when they come to tropical environment, we misjudged or we misunderstood. We were not having a great knowledge about how these plants grow. The problem was they were put across with our own plant material. Initially, we had a PPC facility. I made sure that none of these plants talk to my Indian counterparts. We made sure, even though there was no government restriction, being from the system, we know we don't want to create unnecessary headache at a later stage. So we kept them in a complete PQC, same environment, what is same like last levels. Last levels is one more thing which you guys need to understand in depth. All the students, please study last levels from American Institute of Horticultural Sciences. There are 3 nice books. I will share the link in the afternoon. It already has that presentation and the two links. What you meant by lux levels and what lux, what works well, apart from the spectrum. And on the street lights have different lux, and the plant inside the terminal has a different lux levels. So you need to understand what is the meaning of lux and what is the relationship between plants. We made sure that that also is being captured in this entire thing. When I talk about introduction to the alien species to different environment, the tropical species have a typical pest where they are very resistant to it. In common cold, they are resistant. We don't take medicine for a common cold until unless it's COVID. So common cold is an easy way to get rid of. But for them, it turned out to be fatal. I literally I got actually 64 of the Dracaena dracos. They are oldest living plants on Earth. They actually are the oldest creation of God, along with pteridophytes, gymnosperms, and these initial caves, because like that. On which we all, petroleum is all through them only. All the petroleum products what we are driving right now is all through the old plant, ancient plant materials. The box, all the peat moss or box, are all same species. So we made it sure that what happened is there is a typical stem borer in tropical environment. It's called as pinhole borer. It's impossible to notice until unless the plant actually starts using out the way these wood is infested. Wood gets infestation. Same way, living plants get infestation when it's in the stress. And it cannot resist because they are all in the potted condition. They are not in natural soil. They don't have that kind of immunity to control this pest. This led to a lot of infection on resinous. I'm sharing you this information not to quote unquote. When you are working when you are doing an introduction, you need to make sure that either you need to create a Nigerian environment or you need to keep your local material away from them. And by mistake, one infection started 1 to 2 to 20. Out of 64, I lost 8 of them. Each costed me 6.5 lakh rupees. It is not 6.5 lakh which pains me, it is about losing an 800-year-old ancient tree. Is one. Second, impossible to bring him back again. I cannot bring that kind of a plant again here to the environment. So, loss of time, loss of life was the pain. You need to make sure when you introduce some of such kind of an experimentation when you do in your work, you need to understand what are the pest and disease of those things. Is there anything which is, I share you all the data when my terminal is where I am putting up a lot of books and a lot of white papers to share it to the world. When you work such environment, somebody might become a curator in large botanical gardens. So maybe one of you might actually establish your own botanical garden, or maybe your own 5-star hotel or your own resorts. You need to understand what it takes to make a project successful and alive. Olives don't have any infection of any sort. One of the toughest plants. That's why it's part of the ancient texts like Quran and Bible. God somewhere says that that plant can only die. This biblical word as well as Quranical word says that only when the plant wants to die, it has a blessing from God. These plants are stored, like whenever they do these road or when somebody wants to take out ancient plantations, they pluck it, they keep it as they don't even bother to take care of watering it. Because in Spain, it's only 2 days or 3 days of rain per annum. 80 mm to 200 mm is what they actually get. Maybe in India, 200 mm rain is 1 day rain and 1 hour. So we can't compare that, but actually one of the most sturdiest and very adaptable plant is olive, born in Turkey, bred throughout the world. Again, like tulip, it also comes from Turkey. In Turkey, you hardly see any plantation. Like tulips, you don't see anything in tulip in Turkey. Then, how did we establish the botanical park? I wanted to become a botanical park because my city sits in a confluence of Eastern Ghats and Western Ghats. India inherits world's oldest living forest called as Gondwana, the Eastern Ghats. When actually this earth formed, when we were one single continent, when the continent break down, it also gave us an idea of plant distribution. We were attached to multiple continents in a multiple time frame. So we also see ginkgo biloba, we also see Adansonia disjata, very different ecosystem plant. We also see ferns. In India, it's such a wonderful place. We also see tropical palms. We also see lot of temperate palms like these sub-Himalayan date palms, silver date palms, which are not eating date, but they belong to those Phillips, Sylvester's family. This is the only country where you actually can see so much of diversity. It's not exploited well or explored well, but diversity is there. In terms of we never harvested this as a business proposition. Going back, when we understand that we inherit the oldest living forest, why can't we showcase it as one of the heroes of this terminal? Nobody has attempted this. This is beyond our care. This is beyond our job. We wanted to showcase this. When you actually walk on a canopy of a tree, that's actually the created canopy. You can actually feel it as a forest. It's all forest. You are going to capture light. You already started. International passengers are actually walking on a category of building. Imagine you are walking on a big flowering gulmohar on your leg. And that's where it led us to collecting plants from all ecosystem. We inside the terminal itself, it holds 2,500 Indian plant species. Good, next slide. Again, the creation of mounds is a Indian way of doing it. The architects have recommended 95% compaction by using machinery, putting up geocells, and they wanted trees to come out of the geocells. I said, we don't have patience, nor we have never experimented with it, nor we have any scientific document to prove to public that what we are spending as a 400 crore investment on this entire episode has to be seen tomorrow. Aaj shaadi, kal bacha is the situation. 2021 March, we were supposed to open this terminal. 2019, I have only one year to showcase. So the idea was speedier thing, overnight delivery of the project. We led us to look at all possible experiments. So we started putting up 1 meter of slope in the slope, 1 meter of filling, keeping in a tropical area to hold that kind of content was a tough situation. So Kani guys came into picture, one after the other, holding on to weight on self-weight, plants weight. Kani integrates little later, takes 2.5 hours. By the time root system comes in, it holds on to the entire system. Established forest, you might have already seen that. The whole campus is a right of balance. The idea is day, the idea is night, the idea is month. Because my major revenue comes from international passengers. Night. So we have night blooming roses, we have night blooming lotuses, we have lilies, we have night blooming trees, which are specially placed to attract those visitors. Go on. This is about climate smart irrigation. I have 4,000 acres of turf in the airfield. The idea is to convert that into a large green carpet on which I allow people to invest. You will like Microsoft. While you are landing, you actually see Microsoft from the air, and I generate revenue from the airfield, which is not implemented in India, but it is available in if you fly to Amsterdam. So I think sell over time. Too cumbersome. Working in airfield is a reduced productivity. They allow me only effective working time only 4 hours, but I pay for 10 hours of salary. Business in airfield is quite limited. Only I need to generate revenue. So can we write names? Can we do those things? Convincing the approval authority and making them to agree for that is also a big challenge. At times, government agencies don't understand revenue can also be generated by this way. If I write one name in front of University of Srinagar, they will say, "Oh, it is not allowed, it's a public body." I said, it's generating revenue to the government itself. I am not taking it my home. It is giving back to the place where it was started. Convincing them, making them understand why we are doing this. Irrigation, again, weather based. In outside, what we have done is here the temperature fixed is for 36 degrees. So 24 degrees onwards, 36 degrees, one of the parameters to set the irrigation cycle. Second is a root zone humidity measurement. So if it is less than 65%, then the irrigation sets. Third is cropping pattern. The ideally while you are driving, I can't do the entire area of plantation. I have to do in a restricted 20-30 meters of area given, and it has to be evaluated while you are driving. 1800 is what you are sitting on your car. So vision is only this 45 degrees to 60 degrees. You need, while you are planning anything, what speed you are driving. 50 kilometers away. In my area, they drive 150 kilometers because it is 5 days. What they see, only a view of green or yellow. So what you need to create is a pattern which is very aesthetical and very pleasing. So it remains in your memory while you are driving for the 5 to 7 minutes. And again, each space is rented. Good, next. Last slide? Okay. Now I am open for questions. Really cover. Basically कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है. First you need to explore आप क्या बनाना चाहते हो. लैंडस्केप आप बनाना चाहते हो. लैंडस्केप में क्या क्या अपॉर्चुनिटीज है. एक, आप एग्जीक्यूशन कर सकते हो, आप अपनी नर्सरी चालू कर सकते हो, आप इरिगेशन फील्ड में जा सकते हो, आप ऑटोमेशन पे जा सकते हो. सिर्फ सेंसर्स और वो जो ऑटोमेशन की सिस्टम लगाई उसके लिए उन्हें 40 करोड़ रुपए का खर्च किया. Organic matter, the total environment is only done with organic matter. Sugarcane bagasse, N-solubilizer, P-solubilizer, VAM पंचायत, then H2O. ये सचमुच का हम लोगों ने रेट कॉन्ट्रैक्ट के हिसाब से 20 साल का रेट कॉन्ट्रैक्ट रखा तो प्रोड्यूसर थे. आप ये सब चीज प्रोड्यूस कर सकते हो, आपके नाम से आप ब्रांडिंग करके दुनिया को बेच सकते हो. आप ये कोशिश करो. आपको करना क्या है, एग्जीक्यूशन करना है, मेंटेन करना है. इट्स अ वेरी स्टैटिक फील्ड. आप थोड़ा बड़ा सोचा करो. मैं मेरी खुद की कोई प्रोडक्शन डाल के करूंगा. आप अगर सिर्फ मैं एक गार्डन बनाऊंगा, उसको मेंटेन करूंगा, यू आर वन अमंग द 10 फॉर ऑलरेडी देयर सिंस एजेस. आप उनके रेट ब्रेक नहीं कर पाते हो. ये आप मुझे 8 रुपए पर स्क्वायर फीट का लॉन दे रहे हैं, आपका प्रोडक्शन कॉस्ट 12 रुपए रहेगा, तो आप इनिशियली चालू करोगे. आपको ये सॉर्ट आउट करना बहुत जरूरी है. आप कहां चालू करना चाहते हो. आप सिर्फ ट्रेडर बनना चाहते हो तो आप ट्रेडिंग कर सकते हो. आप एग्जीक्यूशन करने के लिए आपको लेबर की सपोर्ट बहुत जरूरत है. आपको लेबर प्रोडक्टिविटी समझना बहुत जरूरत है. दिन में लेबर 8:30 बजे नहीं आता है. आपको लेबर आता है 9 बजे. आएगा, आपसे चाय मांगेगा. मेरी पेन आपको मैं शेयर कर रहा हूँ. चाय में वो आधा घंटा अपना बर्बाद करेगा, बाद में वो तंबाकू खाएगा, बीड़ी फूकेगा, सिगरेट फूकेगा. ऐसे ऐसे करके धक्का मार के आप उसको 10 बजे काम पे लगा देते. 10 बजे से लेके 11:30 बजे उसको नेचुरल कॉल आ ही जाता है. कहाँ से पता नहीं, साला वो वापस शुरू हो जाएगा 11:30 बजे. वापस 11:30 बजे गायब हो जाएगा. और 11:30 बजे गायब हो जाएगा. वापस उसको पकड़ के आएगा, पैसे से करके 12-1 बजे डब्बा खोल के बैठ जाएगा. 2:30 बजे तक भगवान भी आए और काम पे नहीं चलने वाला. दिस इज रियलिटी ऑफ इंडिया. व्हाई आई एम एक्सप्लेनिंग ये हमारे वो कश्मीर हो या कलकत्ता हो या कहीं हो, ये हर एक जगह की है. मशीनरी, मैकेनाइजेशन. मेरी आइडिया ये बोली है कि आपको मैकेनाइज होना पड़ेगा. आपको मशीनरीज के ऊपर डिपेंडेंसी लाना पड़ेगी. आज अगर कोई एमएसएमई का कोई अगर आपको आके पूछ रहा है, उनको हम एक प्रपोजल रखेंगे, मुझे इटली से ये वाली मशीन चाहिए. इटली में लोग नहीं है, लेकिन दुनिया का 40% अगर वो इडली सबको दे रहा है वो मशीन के हिसाब से दे रहा है। मैं आपको दिखाऊंगा, एक मशीन पे 3 लोग बैठे हैं, बस 3 लोग हैं, तीनों एमएससी हॉर्टिकल्चर है, मैं भी एमएससी हॉर्टिकल्चर। मैं बोला हम एक ही बनाने वाले हैं, तीनों एमएससी हॉर्टिकल्चर, तीन मशीन पे बैठे हैं और मैं लेने के लिए गया था। लोग दे आर डूइंग अ $650 million वर्थ ऑफ बिजनेस। मैं खरीदने वाला, वो बिजनेस कर रहा है, खरीदने वाला, वही डिफरेंस था। वो बेच रहा है, मैं खरीद रहा हूँ, लेकिन मैं मेरे लिए नहीं खरीद रहा था, प्रोजेक्ट के लिए खरीद रहा था, वो खुद के लिए बेच रहा। डिफरेंस वही है। मशीनरी, मैं सिर्फ एक ही मशीन लाना चाहूंगा, आप में से कोई वो मशीन प्रोड्यूस करना चाहूंगा इंडिया में, उसको हम बड़ा करते हैं। माने आप कोई टेक्नोलॉजी लाते हो, मेक श्योर दैट पहली बार टेक्नोलॉजी पे पैसा देंगे, वो टेक्नोलॉजी का नो हाउ लेके आएंगे, हम उसका उसका जो राइट्स है उसके लिए पैसा देंगे, हम टेक्निकल कोलैबोरेशन रखेंगे, उसको एक्सपांड करने का कोशिश करें। हर चीज 100 रुपए का 100 रुपए में अकेला नहीं खाना चाहूंगा, 80 मुझे तो 20 रुपए में आपको भी शेयर करूंगा। देन व्हाट हैपन, यू गेट लॉट, आपके साथ 10 और लोग जुड़ जाएंगे। कोशिश ये है कि आपके साथ आप कितने लोग लेके आ रहे। आप देखो, अगर महाराज अपना आंध्रा का कलियर में जाओगे, एक ही प्लेस है पेडियाकुलर का करके, गोदावरी डिस्ट्रिक्ट में 16,000 नर्सरी है। आप तो सोचते रहोगे आपके दुकान के बाद में दूसरे ने दुकान डाला तो आपका बिजनेस चला गया। नो, इट डजंट वर्क लाइक दैट। इट एक्चुअली हेल्प्स यू टू सर्वाइव, ब्रिंग इन मोर कंपटीशन, ब्रिंग इन मोर प्रोडक्ट्स। लोगों को माने ऑप्शंस के हिसाब से भी बनती जाएगी। 16,000 नर्सरी गए 20 साल से करीबन 12,000 करोड़ का बिजनेस कर रहे, ट्रेडिंग। कोई प्रोड्यूसर नहीं है वहां। मेरा एम ये है, आई वांट मोर प्रोड्यूसर्स फ्रॉम टेम्परेट जोन। आप समझ के चलो, आपके पास 4,000 स्पीशीज है, माने कलेक्ट करके, ग्रो करके, मार्केट में बेचने के लिए। खून पसीना इकट्ठा किया तो मैं 40 स्पीशीज भी इकट्ठा नहीं किया। पूरा एंटायर हिमालयन हेमिस्फीयर से 40 स्पीशीज भी नहीं है, क्योंकि कोई बेचने वाला ही नहीं। आप समझ चलो पोटेंशियल कितना है। जब आप कोई चीज में ट्रेनिंग लेना चाहते हो, आप फिंड आउट करो आप क्या करना चाहते हैं। सिर्फ मैं लैंडस्केप, कल से लैंडस्केप चालू करूंगा, नो, यू विल बी वन अमंग द 10। आई वांट यू टू बी द वन इन द लैंडस्केप। आप अलग, आप करना चाहते हो, आपकी दुकान में जो भी अंदर पैर रखे बिना पॉकेट खाली ये जाना नहीं चाहिए। स्टेशनरी शॉप क्या, घर वालों को जब हम अंदर लेके जाते हो बीवी को, उसको कितना कन्विंस करता है कि वो मेरा जेब खाली करके घर छोड़ता है। लाइक दैट इज अ स्ट्रेटजी व्हाट वी नीड टू हैव। द एग्जांपल्स आर वेरी ह्यूमरस, बट अंडरस्टैंड द साइकी बिहाइंड दैट। You need to make sure that आने वाला जो भी आदमी है आपके पास, you need to compare him to buy. Even if he is a window shopping वाला, कभी कभार हम लोग ऐसे घूमने जाते हैं बिना सोचे समझे कुछ और चीज लेके आ जाते हैं। क्यों? We either get impressed with the color, pattern, और बस खुश, मेरे को बहुत अच्छा लगा, I just bought it. उसकी कोई जरूरत नहीं रहती। That is a kind of curiosity you need to create in the customer who is coming to buy. That is only possible when you have a different shade. हर आदमी यही white color का क्राइसैंथेमम बेचने लगेगा एक ही लाइन में, then it is only the product and the price. There are only two P's which play key role. It's actually 4 P's which play major role in any thing, apart from packaging and the policies which cover the whole show. We will talk about that in the afternoon. कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, आप विजिट करो। आप अकेले विजिट कर रहे हो तो सैटरडे इंग्लिश में फ्री रहता, पूरा गैंग आ रहा है तो जब रेगुलर के बाद
एक्चुअली हम एक्टिविटीज पे काम करते हैं, तो लेबर का कोई इशू नहीं है, क्योंकि हम एक्टिविटी काम करते हैं तो रेवेन्यू जनरेट होता है, तो सबका होता है।
तो मतलब वो इशू नहीं है सर लेबर का, क्योंकि वहाँ पे सब लोग इंटरेस्ट से काम करेंगे। सर मैं जानना चाहूँगा अगर लैंडस्केप पे कुछ हो जाएगा और नर्सरीज मतलब डेवलप करना चाहेंगे तो उसके लिए सर आपकी तरफ से मतलब
में ना इवेंट की सिचुएशन है completely technical. I will not talk about all these things. I will only talk about standards, PDRs, how it is done worldwide, how you can be connected, how you actually can start having a global association. छोटा सोचना नहीं आज. Look at global player. Become one of you become a global player. मेरा आज का विजिट सक्सेस. You have to become a global player. कटलावर में आपको दो तीन चीजें देखनी बहुत जरूरी है कि आप लार्ज स्केल कटलावर को बाय कर रहे हैं. It is a new book in Amsterdam.